Coming to you from Blue Crew Studio in Temecula, California, it's the Whiskey Throttle Show, taking you inside the lives and careers of the legends and leaders of action sports. Today's guest is brought to you by Yamaha. Yamaha is the industry leader in 2- and 4-wheel fun and performance. Motocross, off-road, adventure, side-by-side, Yamaha sets the standard. Yamaha revs your heart. The Whiskey Throttle Show is presented by motosport.com. It doesn't matter if you like to pull a throttle cable on a dirt bike, street bike, side-by-side. Motosport.com is putting riders first with parts, gear, and accessories, including some of our partners like Troy Lee Designs, Dunlop, Pro Circuit, and more. They offer first returns free on apparel so you can buy with confidence. And Motosport.com offers fast, free shipping on all orders over $79. Make your next ride your best ride. Visit Motosport.com. Troy Lee made a name for himself as the most elite helmet painter in all forms of motorsport racing. His ability to make a stationary object look fast is something rare. That creativity gave way to motocross and mountain bike gear, helmets, and an arsenal of protective equipment aimed at keeping racers on the track and out of a doctor's office. The 2025 TLD line is out, and it's as fast as ever. Troy Lee Designs, blending speed and style. Rockform, creators of the world's strongest magnetic phone case. They have mounts for your car, motorcycle, and bicycle, as well as universal mounts to adhere your phone to any surface. They also have screen protectors, power banks, stands, chargers, and more. And don't forget the G-Rock wireless golf speaker. Magnets adhere this powerful speaker to your cart, or any metallic surface for that matter, so you have tunes while you golf, work, or hang out. Rockform, always innovating the phone case market. Rockwell designs all their sunglasses in their U.S. headquarters in Utah. Then they are manufactured in Italy using the strictest craftsmanship standards, ensuring you get the best pair of sunglasses you've ever owned. From men's and women's designs, floatable, alloy frame, and a UV 400 rating, which blocks out 100% of UV rays, Rockwell has everything you need for you and your family. Use our code WT20 for 20% discount at checkout at rockwelltime.com. Thanks for joining us here in the Blue Crew studio for the Whiskey Throttle Show, everybody. Our guest today is a former professional racer with a really good career of his own, turned business owner, and now he's doing some really cool things that we were excited to talk about. I love it when I see guys kind of come out of the racer mode and jump into something else and be successful. So Michael Leib, welcome to the show, man. Stoked to have you.
Thank you for having me.
I know we've been talking a bit about getting you on, so stoked we're doing it.
Found some time.
Yeah, I know. You've been busy. We're going to talk about all that. We start with the motosport.com gate drop. Get everything you guys need over there for really anything. Gear, bike parts. Their catalog is super extensive. These guys will take really good care of you. Go to motosport.com, and if you get over there in the next couple weeks, motosport.com/win, you can sign up to win a brand new Yamaha 450. You don't have to do anything. Just sign up. It's free. And you might just come away with a new dirt bike. So check those guys out. You got a lot going on lately. We're going to get to all of that. But I want to ask you about your most recent venture, which is the SMX jerseys thing. Mm-hmm. Tell me how that came to be and how's it going?
The SMX jersey thing was it was something that I had in the back of my mind for, I would say, probably the better part of 6-7 years. I, at that point, hadn't been in the manufacturing space, and then when we got into the manufacturing space, it was a little bit more plausible because of all the gear brands that we do work with. And then, having my career be based in moto, all my relationships with not only teams and riders, but knowing now the gear side on the back end and being able to connect the dots all the way around, if there was ever an opportunity, I think, for us to have a chance of bringing this to life in our industry, like in every other major sports organization, this was the time to do it.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it all came about.
And you said the idea was, it's not like this crazy new off the wall concept. Like you
Not
said,
at all.
every other sport, you can go to a game and buy your favorite rider's jersey, you know? And if you go to a Supercross or a National, they have the event tee, and maybe a couple of the top guys do some co-branded stuff, but it's you haven't been able to do that, and it seems odd to me.
It's an interesting dynamic, too, because I have the racer mindset of what it can do for a racer. Then I have the brand side of what it can do for a brand. Then I have the fan side that we've all been connected to as a racer. What's the number one thing you get asked for? Jersey.
Yeah.
It's a $2 billion industry in NFL. It's been a major part of the success of NFL growing and the notoriety of the players, the notoriety of the teams, right? There's a huge connection there that was a big part of NFL's big boom when you look back 20 years ago. And racers, we only get, 3 or 4 jerseys per weekend on a high. There's not a lot of jerseys to go around, but, and then there's the whole conversation of, well, if you brought in a, replica jersey into the space, well, you're devaluing, having a jersey out there, because there's only so many true, authentic race jerseys. That's a complete opposite case. Go look at a Patrick Mahomes jersey in NFL. Game-worn versus replica. The replica jersey market blew up his game-worn jersey value. Same all the way. I'm not super familiar with all the, Dan Marinos and stuff like that, but those people are still collecting a paycheck. And as a racer, we're out there risking our lives every day for an industry that doesn't necessarily pay what we all think as a racer that we could get paid and bring a lot of notoriety to the sport. So connecting the dots all the way around on giving riders a way to have passive income, hurt or racing, right? Can be on the couch if you need to be.
Yeah.
And giving gear companies a way to have passive income and branding, that this is something that people want. So let's give it to them. It works in NFL. It works in MotoGP, Formula One. Even those guys wearing, the leathers and the driving suits, they're selling sublimated T-shirts that are similar to a jersey in that space. And that's still a huge, huge number.
Yeah, that merch side in NASCAR, it doesn't matter what it is, it's huge. And I guess I wanted to know, because it's got a little more hair on it, like a football player, he's wearing the team jersey. So you just have to get permission from the team to use their likeness, and then probably also from the NFL, right? Which they're all going to take a cut. With racing, it's a gear company and the rider, and then you have SMX. So is but is it kind of formatted the same? Everybody gets a slice of the pie?
We can only pay so many people, right? So let's use Ken Roxon and Progressive, for example. I have to go out and individually license every rider, every gear brand, every team, and then the team doesn't give me the rights to the logos of the team, right? So I got to go license everyone down from Hinson clutches to Vortex ECUs all the way across the board. But when you look at this on a bigger scale, and let's use Progressive like I was going to say, right? Progressive is paying for eyeballs. If we're putting their jersey, if we're putting their logo on an SMX replica jersey and that jersey gets sold 10,000 times, that's 10,000 more rotating billboards out there in the industry that are being seen all across the board for years to come. Somebody has like a Villapoto, it's probably like an 06 jersey. Thor did a really small run back in 06, and he brought one over here a couple years ago and got it signed by Ryan. Think about that. That's a 20-year gap.
Yeah.
Right? And those sponsors that lived on that jersey in 06 still getting shown around the world today. So there's a lot of different angles on it. I could be the one smart enough to try to figure it out or the one dumb enough to try to figure it out, because the licensing and the side of, all the logos like Monsters and Red Bulls and the things that may or may not ever happen, we just have to chip away at it, but it has to start somewhere. And I feel like if there was ever an opportunity for us to do it, watching SMX turn into this league, having playoff type conversations, and starting to compare ourselves more to other major sports leagues, we're missing a major component, and that's one of them that I'm trying to fix.
Yeah. Well, I think it's really cool. Who's available right now if people are interested? David Bailey's.
We got Bailey. We got James Stewart license, which is super cool.
Is that which one is that? The Answer?
The Stubra. 7 jersey Stubra.
Okay, gotcha.
We got a couple. We got the 450 Champ one for Cooper Webb. We got some new stuff coming with Webb and Bradshaw here that would be pretty awesome.
Okay.
Drawing a blank. We got all the Star Yamaha team like Cole Davies and everything minus Hayden Deegan. We've got quite a few guys up. I think we got about 40 jerseys available online.
Dang, that's cool.
And when we drop guys,
AP. I thought I saw an AP jersey.
AP, yeah, AP has been top seller. But in matter of fact, every AP jersey that gets bought on there, he signs every single one of them. Because like when we do a jersey drop, we try to get the guys to at least sign the first week worth of orders. AP has done this now for a year and a half. I think he's sold something like 1,600 jerseys. And, dude, he has signed every single one of them. He is such a legend.
He's awesome.
He's as cool as he is on TV, he is even cooler in person, which is awesome.
Yeah, he really is, man. It's not often those guys come along like a Pastrana, where you go, this dude's too corny. He can't be this nice. Yeah. And then you meet him, you're like, he's really that. That's really who he is.
Yeah.
AP's that same way.
Yep.
Yeah, he's not really putting on an act. Well, cool. Well, I'm excited to see how that thing expands and grows. We'll keep posting. We'll post stuff on our site as you guys put new things up.
We need to ask your viewers how many want a Pingree jersey and what year.
There's about 3 of them out there. I got 3 really good fans.
Let's get them what they want.
Well, and we talked about it. If we can figure AXO out, there's some really sweet pro circuit stuff. I have a really cool old JT one that hopefully we can get something done on. But anyway, work on it.
Cool.
How much you getting to ride these days?
I'm not riding a whole lot. I stopped racing in 2020, and a buddy of mine convinced me to get a dual sport, and I did, and fell in love with that. So if I'm riding much these days, it's that.
Yeah.
I think I rode a dirt bike track, 2 times last year.
Do you miss it at all or no?
I'm still at the, I can still go the speed, but I don't work out or train at all.
Yeah.
And then things just hurt, and it doesn't feel good. And I ripped a leg off at some point, tore a groin, and I'm like, dude, I'm too busy for that.
Yeah.
So
I see a guy like Brownie get hurt,
Right.
I don't know why, but it just reminds you that,
yeah.
Even just riding within your means, riding enough, it's, this is a dangerous sport. And so the dual sport thing, I've fallen in love with too, man. Like, it's a good little fix.
Yeah.
For the throttle therapy, but it's pretty safe. Body's pretty,
it's fun. And if I go to the track, my dad was a lap time king, right? So that's all I kind of knew how to do. So it's kind of weird to go to the track and kind of really have fun. If you know what I mean. Like, it's just, I don't know, if I'm not going the speed. What do I love about racing? I love that unexplainable feeling of just being in flow state. You got to ride to be there. So if I'm not there, that's what I miss. And dual sport takes that element away. I get to go have fun with my buddies, stop, have a beer and a burger, and continue down the road, ride into the night. I've done rides till 3 or 4 in the morning. It's really fun. People haven't gotten into it. It's a super good time. I just did Kennedy Meadows for the first time.
Oh yeah, you went up and camped up there. How's that?
I went with two buddies of mine that I've known since I was 6 and 7, and one of them I haven't connected with in a long time. And I think it was the best riding trip I've ever been on in my life.
Is that right?
It was so much fun.
Just big loops during the day, and
yeah, just flowing single track for miles and miles and miles, and it was so much fun.
I got to go do it. I got to get healthy.
You've never been up to Kennedy?
No. I passed it on the way to Mammoth, and I'm like, I always hear about this spot.
We pulled up the first night. I think we got there at 12:30 at night. And then we pulled into this place where there was nobody, and you're just looking up, and the stars are as clear as day. And we set up a campfire, and it was just awesome. Yeah. It was a super good disconnect for me.
Well, we have to put together a trip. I'd like to do a Whiskey Throttle dual sport ride. And invite, obviously we'd have GL and Rhino, kind of all the homies, maybe Emig. But then invite, say 10 people.
You got to cap it at a certain group size, but it is such a good time. I'm super stoked to have found it, because when I got done with racing, my love for it was definitely in question, which I think is pretty normal when people step away. Yeah. Obviously, step away because you're not having fun anymore. But I'm glad that I found that, because without that, I don't know that I'd be riding much at all.
Yeah, it's interesting. I always am intrigued by the phenomenon of some guys just quit and they don't ever touch another bike. Johnny O. I mean, he's he hasn't ridden in years. My brother-in-law, Phil Lawrence. There's a lot of guys. Yeah. And some of them will ride for a while and they hit a point and they're just like, okay, that's enough.
Yeah. But I mean, then you look at Brownie, like you said, and I mean, we both walked away from crashes that maybe
shouldn't have.
Right.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the tough part. I just love it so much, it's hard to quit. But
yeah,
maybe I just got used to not being in the flow state, so I can still go ride. And I'm like, yeah, this feels good. Whatever the opposite of the flow state is.
When you quit, did you keep riding from then forward?
Yeah, because I worked for a magazine, so I just
so you jumped straight into a different role.
Yeah,
that probably helped you though.
It did, because I love to ride. It's like my therapy, and so to be able to go, I was just doing international races for fun. They'd pay me a little start money. I'd write a story. It was great. I mean, and my wife and I were just married, so we'd go together. They'd pay both of our tickets and give me a couple grand start money.
Sick.
So we were doing vacations all around the world. I mean, New Zealand, Puerto Rico, all over Europe.
But that is such a different scenario than what you stepped away from.
Totally.
That for you is the saving grace there for sure.
Yeah, and it let me deal with not being a factory racer anymore. That isn't who I am anymore. So then who am I? Kind of figure that out while I'm still doing something I love and make that transition. It's hard.
Yeah.
Hey, get over to WiskeyThrottleMedia.com, guys. Moto, off-road, dual sport content, all kinds of stuff, live events, which we've got some cool stuff coming up. The Big Bear Grand Prix. We've got an electric mountain bike race Friday night, live Code Red show Saturday night. It's going to be a blast. Anytime we have live events, and we've got some really cool stuff coming up. It's all going to be at WiskeyThrottleMedia.com, tickets and everything else. Guest story brought to you by Yamaha. Join the Blue Crew. All kinds of merch over there, too. Look at this. They hooked me up.
Dialed.
Let's talk about where you grew up. Are you like a Menifee kid?
I was born in Mission Viejo.
Okay.
I was down there for...
What year?
91. I was down there for 3 or 4 years, and then we moved up to Crestline, which is just below Lake Arrowhead.
That's right.
Little private community up there, and that's really where I learned how to ride. I actually learned how to ride more off-road trail stuff, and then did my first race when I was 4 at Paris, and my dad told my mom while I was asleep in the back seat. I won my first race, and he's like, well, we're not doing this for a few years because once we start, it's not going to stop. And we didn't do that for 3 or 4 years.
Would you guys go to like the Pinnacles up there?
We did the Pinnacles, Pilot Rock, Deep Creek, Devil's Hole, all that stuff. And it was not ruined by side-by-sides in the early 90s, I guess.
Yeah.
Late 90s.
I've been up in the mountains with the fire department for the past. I've been up in that division, and we're on a lot of calls, people crashing up there. So what was it like as a kid? Did you do other stuff, play other sports?
So from when I was 4 until I was like 6 or 7, soccer, baseball,
did it all
that stuff. And then was pretty into BMX too. I rode moto all the time. But my dad told me when I was like 6 or 7, he was like, pick one. And I said, moto. He should have shoved a golf club down my throat. But, once we decided to do that, I think I was 8 years old. So that would have been 98. Once we did that, it was amateur nationals and straight focused racing from there forward.
Well, so did your dad race? How was he into bikes? Because I remember him in 90, I think 5, 6, he was the ad agency for Pro Circuit, right? That's how I first met him.
Yeah.
You'd have been a little kid back then, but did he race before that?
So his parents never really supported him racing. He had to wait till I think he was 16. He bought his own motorcycle and he'd sneak away to the track, and he went and, did his own racing a lot in the English town and all that stuff. He was back in New Jersey. That's where they're from. And then I think in 86 they got married and moved out here, and the exact story, there's like the Kendon trailers, and then there's the Race Tech and the Mental Edge and the Paul Theed stuff. And then from there he worked into the ad agency. And then after that it was Big Gun. So he was always wanting to be in the industry. He didn't have a lot of support to get into it. So he really paved his own path to get into the industry. And that's where, I basically got a motorcycle, I think I was probably 1.5 years old.
Well, yeah, he's been in the industry, like I said, as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
And then your mom also, she runs on-track schools.
Yep. How
did she get to there? I mean, she wasn't involved in the sport before you guys got into it.
So she got her master's in teaching. God, they're going to kill me not knowing the days and dates of this stuff. But she was my substitute teacher at my school throughout 3rd and 4th grade. Okay. And when I hit 5th grade, I would think I was about 10 years old. We had gone to Ponca or Loretta's, and I did okay. And on the way home, my dad looked at my mom, and he said, you're going to have to teach our kids, homeschool. She said over her dead body. And 4 months later, she started on track. And it was me and Baggett and a few other kids that were kind of our age and in our circle. And she developed on track, and they have a ton of students now. And it was the coolest story of the on-track side for me was it had been like 15 years that I had not gone to Loretta's. And at Loretta, she has graduation, she has prom, she has all this stuff. It's funny, like, we used to go there and she was always Michael Leib's mom. Now I go there and I'm Andrea Leib's son, right? It's like she owns the place from head to toe. It's so awesome. And watching her graduate kids, and even kids go there to graduate that don't even race motorcycles.
Oh, really?
Just to go graduate with their class that they've been on, online virtual classrooms with and get to know their teachers. And they'll fly in to Loretta's to graduate just so they have that experience, I mean, as an athlete, whether you're an equestrian or skate or snow or moto, we have a pretty abnormal childhood as far as the school side goes and the friend group. So it's incredible to see how she's tying people together, and people get to come in and like do the apprentice program. Have you seen that side?
Yeah, she told me a little bit about what was going on there.
So cool. And like I was up in the tower with all the guys up there that were announcing at Loretta's, and this guy comes up. He was like, "Oh, how's it going, man? I'm so and so. It's so nice to meet you. I did this apprentice thing a couple years ago, and now it's my full-time job." And I'm like, dude, that is so cool, because as a racer, you don't really know what you want to do or go do, and especially if you're there and you're your brother's racing or whatever,
Yeah.
and you're just sitting there and you find something that you're passionate about. It's super cool.
That's rad, man. I love it when people do something profound like that.
Yeah.
Like that's having an impact on kids' lives
Tenfold.
long term, right?
Yeah.
I think that's really neat. And I would have said it's funny how homeschool 20 years ago, 30 years ago was like kind of for weird kids.
Yeah.
You ate your boogers or you couldn't hold your pee, so you'd homeschool. Like now it's just, at least in California anyway, and I can't speak for schools around the country, but the public schools here are a joke.
Yeah.
Like they're terrible. I would not send your kid to that. We did a charter school for a while, which was some of those booger eaters, and then we went to a private school, and it was just so freaking expensive.
Yeah.
And there's good things happening there too, where like now your state funding will follow the child, which I think is a no-brainer. That should have happened a long time ago, but
that's been a big change for them too, having that all happen. My parents, I think one of the best things that my parents have ever taught me is whatever you do, leave it better than you found it. And it's so cool to see them live that throughout their entire life. And I truly believe that, especially my mom, the school side, leaving this place in a better,
that's rad.
in a better circumstance is incredible. I couldn't
really
be more of a proud son.
And she's got a pretty high clientele list of people that have, didn't RC, or there's been a handful of guys, maybe
Carmichael
Fro.
and Deegan and Malcolm Stewart. I mean, Nico Izzy's. I mean, you can go back quite far.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's a lot. And Emig. I mean, Carmichael just graduated, a year or two ago at Daytona? I think it was something like that. But it's just like, again, these guys, after their career, after you step out of the pipe dream of what moto is, there's life after that. And for a lot of people, it's really hard to figure out what that is. And it's just cool to see people put the ego down and go do what they should do.
Well, and I think our sport's making good moves, like bumping up the age for pro racing, and that'll help make it so that education stays a bit of a priority, even if you're homeschooling. Mm-hmm. When you're turning pro at 16, it's like, really, okay, I'm done with school, right?
Right.
So I don't know. I think that's really good things that the AMA and the sport in general are doing, and it'll really tie in well. But homeschool, like On Track, has kind of become maybe the better way to educate your children.
It's pretty cool.
So anyway, it's really cool. Good for her. And then your dad. So he left the ad agency. He started Rocket Exhaust after that, or am I missing a
Big
step?
Gun.
Oh, Big Gun.
Big Gun.
With Mike, or was that his own thing?
No, with Mike. And then they had a fallout. And then it was a couple years after that he started Rocket, and we built a lot of our own motor packages that we raced on out of that. He did that exhaust thing from 2009 to somewhere in 21, 22, and then he sold it.
Okay.
So he's out of that now, and they're both fully focused on track now.
Okay. So how old were you when you got your first bike? You said like 10?
No, my first motorcycle?
Or 4?
I was like 1.5.
Oh, geez.
Dude, I was off training wheels on a PW50 at 2.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So Dad was living his childhood through you.
100%.
I couldn't have a bike. You're going to have one before you can walk. PW50?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you guys would just kind of trail ride for a while. What was your first race?
Paris Raceway. I was 4. That would have been 95. And it was like in the bottom right of the pits in the back that is there now. And first track I ever rode was Verona Oaks.
Okay.
I remember that. And yeah.
What stands out from those? Do you remember like who the pros were or who you were racing with?
I got a photo of me explaining how to do a double jump with Guy Cooper. And I'm not tall now, but like I was little. And Guy Cooper's just sitting there smiling at me. It's super funny.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it's super funny.
There's another real sweet guy.
Awesome dude.
Squirrely, but heart of gold.
Yeah.
Okay, so after that, it was off to the races, literally. You guys were racing all the time.
Yep. After that, we started, I can't remember exactly what my first amateur national would have been. I want to say it was
back
World
then,
Mini.
you had like Golden State and Transcal were still going on.
Yeah.
GFI Winter Series.
Huge.
Those were such good events.
GFI was massive, huh?
Yeah, you didn't really have to leave the state of California.
You'd go to an Elsinore on a Sunday, and the spy truck would be out there, and there'd be 1,000 people.
Yeah.
And Mike Metzger would be wheeling his freaking bike through his back window of his truck.
Yeah, there was anything you wanted to see was out at Elsinore. Who was in your crew back then? Like, who did you kind of grow up racing with?
So I grew up racing. I mean, we spent a bit of time with the Baggetts. As far as like who we really spent our time around, some of the stuff gets foggy, as I'm sure you can relate. We've probably both hit our head once or twice.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
I'm just trying to think of who was in your era.
Jay Canada, Pugmire,
because
Ian Treadle, Landon Courier, Taryn O'Dell.
Okay.
All those guys. I mean, like those kind of names you're thinking of?
Yeah, well, and I like to go through the Loretta's years, and I don't remember what year I was looking at, but I was just clicking on to see who was in your class with you, and it's like you were racing Dean Wilson, Tomac, Ben LeMay, Blake Wharton, Ashley Feilich, Jake Canada, Baggett. So I just think it's interesting to kind of see who's in your group,
and who ends up where.
Because every year it's like a new kind of group of guys, and then it all moves around. Some guys make it, some guys don't.
Yeah.
Pugmire, I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Dude, his dad with a flathead shovel would freaking prep him a line to the first corner. He was so funny with it.
That's funny. Yeah. Who were the pros you were looking up to back then? Like, who was your guy?
Oh, I got to throw your name in the hat.
You don't got to do that. 95 would have been Jeremy's heyday.
What year was it when you broke the front end off your bike?
2002. That was
2002? Dang. Mm-hmm. I mean, McGrath was the guy. Wyndham, I was a major Wyndham fan.
Yeah.
Pastrana, he was hard to not be a fan of, I think, for probably anybody.
Yeah. Was there anyone that helped you around here? Did you work with any coaches or local pros?
David Bailey was definitely a guy that was in my corner from pretty early on. As far as pros, we kind of had a pretty closed circle program for whatever reason. There was a lot of guys that were super nice and super supportive. Ricky Johnson be one of them. There's a few, and I'm sure I'm forgetting a few, and I'll watch this back. I'll be like, dude, why didn't I think of that or this or whatever? But there was a bunch. I mean, we live in the mecca of it. Everyone was here at certain points.
For sure. So when did you guys, what was your first memory of Loretta Lynn's? I know we just had an event, Loretta Lynn's event pass, and I was thinking, I haven't been there since 92.
Really?
And I just watching the videos, I'm like, man.
You've not been there since 92? No way.
Yeah, I keep threatening to go. Like I said, when I turned 50, I was going to go. That would be this year, and now I got a messed up knee. But it comes around, and I just go, am I going to really go spend all that money and all that effort?
Just for 3 days.
And sweat my balls off.
Hey, I flew in there last Wednesday. Was that last Wednesday? Yeah. It's
oppressive.
Insane.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. I don't remember racing in that anywhere in the world. It was that hot. Thursday and Friday were great, so I picked great timing when I flew in. But my first memory of Loretta's, I was on a 60. I think it was 02. I was on a KTM. And I was good here, but I'd never really rode on the East Coast. Dude, I think I went 25, 21, 18.
Well, your first year, I got them.
Oh, my God.
You were in 65, 7-9 stock. You got a 25th.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was really rough.
Well, when you come from the West, maybe if you're in the Northwest, you'd be used to some mud and ruts. Like, I just was not a rut guy. The ruts all we have out here are pretty shallow and hard.
You're never riding mud.
Yeah, if it's muddy, you go, I'll wait for it to clean up a bit. That's our own bad. But the humidity, I mean, I'm from Arizona. It doesn't get any more opposite than that,
Yeah.
Montana and Arizona are both super dry. And so to go from those to Loretta Lynn's was like, I just remember I couldn't breathe. I was in a flop sweat.
Yeah.
I wish I'd have had Element back then because that would have helped me.
Instead, we were drinking Gatorade with 85 grams of sugar.
It was actually, this was, do you remember, there used to be a sponsor called Endura? Do you remember that?
Yep.
I don't even know who made it or whatever, but there was like a big tub of it at the finish line. And I would just pour the jug over my head.
What was the drink that, was that the Tomax? Cytomax?
It wasn't theirs, but Cytomax was around forever.
That's the one I remember.
Jeff Montgomery, Iron. Yeah. You remember Iron?
Yeah.
I don't know if it even exists anymore, but yeah, that was it for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got a third in Super Mini.
Yeah.
And you actually won a title in 09 in 250B stock, so you had some success back there.
You should have pulled up how I won the title.
Oh, how did it go?
1-1-14.
Well, I probably saw that. What happened in the 14?
I had to get 11th or better in the third moto. I won the first two motos, and one was a mutter, which I have no idea how I won. I have the biggest tape styrofoam thing on the top of my helmet just to keep the mud off in the first moto. It was hilarious, and it's literally duct taped. And anyway, I had to get 11th or better in the third moto, and I went into the first turn. I'm like, I'm going to rip a start. I'm going to cruise. And I ripped a start, and the light at the end of the tunnel just completely closed off. I went end over end, no front brake, no clutch, and just AC joint separated. Got my bike into gear, started it, got going, and I passed somewhere in the 14th on the last lap. I came off the track bawling. I had no idea that I was even top 5 overall. And Leanne Baggett comes over to me and grabs my hinge strap, my straps, and my helmet, and just, you better get it together. It was hilarious, but yeah.
Sometimes you need that.
No, I needed it.
That parent.
I needed it. The stress of that place, man. As an amateur, and I mean, you're looking
So
at
how
all
did
my
you get
results.
14 and still win the title then?
The first mud moto, everyone went haywire, and there was a couple guys that DNF'd.
Oh.
I lucked out.
Okay.
Yeah, but
well, you don't listen.
you don't get lucky at Loretta's. I get it.
Yeah.
But that was a freak deal.
A title's a title.
Yeah, that was the title with the most points won up until 2 years ago. Someone won it with 17 points, and I had won it that year with 16.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
It's not really a title you want to.
No.
You don't want to claim that, but.
Glad I'm not the highest point title anymore.
Okay, so how did you have any support, through these years where you started doing well?
Yeah, I mean, so 03.
Who was helping you?
So 03, KTM was the deal with Champion Cycles, which was Al Allbiker, and I think Osborne was around then.
Okay.
And the next year I got picked up by Team Green in 03. I was on Team Green from, I believe, 03 to 06. I had won my first championship at World Minis in 03 on a 65 on the 911 stock class or mod class, one of the two. And then the hardest part for me back then was I was always too little getting on the next bike due to age out. So I had to move up so early that from essentially, I think, 04 pretty much into 07, 08, I was just too small getting on the bigger bikes. And I mean, even my race weight in Supercross was 128 pounds on 250.
Jeez.
I was
good for starts.
It was terrible for whoops. My God.
You're preaching to the choir, buddy.
I got good whoop stories. I got a good whoop story about Don Leib that you might not know.
Well, let's hear it.
So 2012, I come back from Europe, which I'm sure we'll get into there.
We'll get to there, yeah.
I decided I'm going to go race West Coast. I'm done with Europe. Screw that whole thing. And I bought bikes to go race West Coast. So I got a test track, deal for the year with La Paglia's here in Marietta. And, they had big whoops. And Justin Brayton, who's like a whoop god, and a couple other guys were there. And I'm trying to figure out whoops on my first year. And my dad keeps going, dude, you're going too slow into the whoops. And I said, obviously,
thank you.
Captain Obvious. Thank you. Exactly. I said, here's my bike. Go ahead and do it. Show me how it's done. So after the third or fourth week, I'm not figuring it out. I'm stumbling left and right. And he goes, dude, it's 4 miles an hour. That's the only thing separating you between where you need to be and where you are now. And I'm like, great, Dad. Glad you're so scientific. So we go to the track a week or so after that conversation. And I come out of the corner in my warm-up. And I'm coming out of a left, and my dad's staring back at me from the third or fourth whoop, pointing a gun at me. Bastard went out and got a radar gun. And I was exactly 4 miles an hour slower than Brayton going into the whoops.
Oh, no.
He legit went and pulled out a radar gun on me just to prove a point. He was right. Don't tell him that. He won't watch this.
Sadly, dads do know best most of the time. You hate to admit it.
That's who would ever, as a mini dad, go pull out a radar gun?
Don. Did you? Was that the period of time when Bryce Valley was riding out there a lot, or am I mixing the timelines up?
That might have been a little after. I don't know.
Okay.
I grew up racing with Bryce Valley.
Because I coached him for the couple of years he was trying to do Supercross, and we were out there a lot. And I'm trying to remember if
I want to say that was a year or two after that point.
Okay.
I want to say.
Yeah, I can't remember the years anyway.
Yeah.
So, of all those amateur races, obviously you won Loretta's title. What was your kind of favorite amateur race to do?
I liked Ponca a lot. I liked Whitney. Whitney was always fun. But, yeah, as an amateur, I mean, I didn't have that much success. Like in 08, I was riding for Honda Houston, and we were at Ponca, and I won my first 3 motos by a landslide. I was on fire that year. That was probably my best amateur year speed-wise. And there was right after intermission on lunch break, there was a water line that broke underneath the ground right after the finish line, and they knew about it. We heard them talking about it on the radio, and they dropped the gate, and I was kind of conscious of it, and I was 3 or 4 laps into the moto, and my front end just sunk. and I went end over end, and the track was real fluffy, so it wasn't a big deal. And until I landed, my bike flopped on me and broke my femur. And that was back then. Ponca was the week before Loretta's, but
gotcha. That's why no 08 results there.
Yep. So yeah, and then the other class in 09, that was a mod class. I can't remember my first two motos, but they were 2-3 ish, and then DNF. I blew a motor in the third moto.
Tell me the difference there. I mean, I'm only seeing it on video clips. What's the changes in Loretta's from your first year, let's say, to now?
I mean, your last year was 92. That was my first year there, I guess, was 01. I mean, dude, there's so much cool stuff there. Like, it's such a vacation for moto families. It's pretty cool. It is pretty cool. The families that get together, the events that they got organizing, the vendor row, it wraps, where the finish line is, I guess, and it wraps all the way behind the start now, and then it splits off back this way, all behind, I guess, where the other side of the starting line would be. Yeah. And it's just a really cool atmosphere.
I've heard the parking, like every field that used to be kind of half full, or it's like stuffed to the gills and more.
You can drive 3 miles down the road past, it's probably like more like 2, and there's people like all the way past Loretta's house in the back, full.
And they're just camping way out there, 3 miles away, and gonna
way
ride
out
in?
There, yeah. Yeah. I mean, kids on 60s are like riding to the line and then filling their bike up before they go out. Like, they're that far away. And they're probably losing a lot of rear tire knobby too. That little edge on the rear tire right on the street.
And is there VRBOs around there? Where are people staying if you're not camping?
I stayed in Nashville, downtown.
You did?
I drove back and forth.
Was it hour and 20?
It's an hour. Nashville's fun though. I'm obviously not there racing anymore. So that seemed reasonable for me to drive an hour each way for 2 days.
What is it, Main Street? What's the main road? Or
Broadway.
Broadway.
Yeah. Nashville was fun. This was the first time I kind of went out in Nashville and hung out. It was a good time.
What are the best days of the week to go if you're just going to go? Not racing, but just go check it out.
I like the last few days of the week. Last few days of the week, everyone's a little bit more mellow. Everyone's kind of ironed out. They got more time to hang out a little bit, and then you're starting to see the people that win the titles and where people are.
Everyone's wound real tight the first few days.
Uh-huh.
Dad's screaming.
Oh, my God. Brings back great memories.
Okay, so I thought this was curious, and it gets a little foggy for me, your kind of results, because you didn't do a Supercross till 2012.
Yep.
So from 09, when you were done at Loretta's, you went to Europe, but I can't remember how all that came to be. So talk me through that.
09, when Loretta's, we were going to miss Supercross and go straight into outdoors in 2010. And I had done some sort of Supercross round at Elsinore. It was like a little amateur Supercross deal that Elsinore put on, and Jackie Vamon and Gregory Aranda, there was a few guys out there from Bud Racing. And anyway, I beat them. I won everything there. And I got a call about a week later to go fill in for Nico Aubin on the MX2 class and for Bud Racing Kawasaki. And my first pro race was out there, but I'd get there. And we went.
Did you? I mean, that's a big leap. You're how old? 20?
No, I was 17.
Did your dad go with you?
No. How old would I have been? 18.
You're young. That's my point.
My dad came over with me first, and we landed and went straight to the practice track.
France, right?
Yeah, France. Yeah, we were south of France in Hossakar, and my 7th lap, I hit a rock on the face of a jump, and I broke my wrist. Like, I hadn't even been there 4 hours. And luckily, it was just a chip. And I raced my first MXGP. I think it was in Spain at Bellpuig. And that was 7 days later. Yeah, 9 days later. It hurt like hell. But, yeah, that's my pro debut. It was MXGP.
And how was that? What was your... That's an odd path. I mean, were you guys looking to race here? Did you talk to teams?
We were. So I won Loretta's and I got no help.
No offers.
Sorry, I should rephrase that. I didn't get any help. We were going to have to buy bikes and go do outdoors, but that was our plan. And then the MXGP thing came up where there was a little bit of money and travel was covered. Well, that's our better option. So I guess we'll go across the pond and kind of get some experience over there and see what happens. And the first 2 years over there were really, really tough. I mean, at 18, you're there by yourself. We didn't have FaceTime and iMessage and all that stuff that we do now. So you're AOL Messenger and Skype. And my dad was with me for like the first 3 or 4 days, and then I was pretty much on my own. My parents came over a little bit in between. I had a girlfriend at the time that came over for about a month, which was fun. But it was hard to be over there and be alone, and especially in France, that not a lot of people there speak English. Just felt very isolated.
Yeah.
But it was the best growing experience that I've ever had in my life 2 years later, right? But it was tough.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect and time for guys who, whether it's American guys go race over there or people from anywhere else in the world come here. I think we just take for granted the changes that they're having to adapt to.
Yeah.
And no family, no friends. You know, if you're a Jorge Prado, like his parents probably spent some time here and he's got a crew, right? But in your situation, your dad was there for a few days and then he's like, all right, good luck.
Yeah. No, it was tough. You know, I mean, I was a mama's boy. I didn't know how to cook. I didn't know how to do a lot of the things. I was very catered to here. So, yeah, I jumped in the deep end.
Yeah.
Jackie Vamon was my trainer. He and his now wife, Manolo, they were incredible for me. They were awesome people. They kind of became my European parents there for a little bit. And, the last round of the year, I think I went 7-7 in Fermo in Italy. And that kind of got me on the table for a Husky deal the next year. I learned at 19 that money doesn't buy happiness. I signed a pretty good contract to go ride a Husky, and the bike was 33 horsepower in the same year. I think factory KTM was 47. So
not a lot of hole shots.
Worked great on hard pack tracks because it was like built-in traction control. But it was really, really tough.
This was old Husky before, before the KTM takeover.
Yeah, it was tough. It was definitely a path that, you know, and I guess kind of leading into, you know, my first Supercross year in 2012, I had finished out that year at Husky never wanting to go back to Europe ever again. I was done. I hated it. I had a 6th place, I think, in Germany in 2011. Just the equipment was tough. I mean, even the year before with Bud Racing, we had electronic issues every weekend. And the bike would just shut off. And then I got scared, and then, you know, you start having all these gremlins that come in, and if you don't have success in a certain amount of time, you just spiral negative-wise, right? And that.
Well, look at Prado now. I mean, he's not comfortable on the bike, but you know, that's a lot of that's between your ears.
I mean, like, it's funny because I use this reference with Prado back at Washougal. You go look at lap times at Washougal. Prado was 7 seconds off pace. That is insane. You're talking about a 2-time MXGP champ. He is unreal. Right? Yeah. 7 seconds. Can you imagine, right? So like Lommel, first year at Lommel, I go out, and that's the sand race in Belgium for people that don't know, which I think was last weekend. I went out and threw down an absolute heater. I was ripping. Dude, there wasn't that much that I could do better. I was 9 seconds off. I questioned every existence that I've ever had in this entire sport. Like, mentally, you can put yourself in places that, like, watching what's going on right now with Prado, I'm sure he'll bounce back. I don't know if it'll be on the bike he's on now, but, I mean, you can get there. I'm sure you've had lulls in your career where it's like, dude, what am I doing wrong?
And the harder you try, the worse it seems to get. Like, it will snowball the wrong direction, just like it snowballs the right direction for a guy like Jet. When things are clicking and everything's comfortable, it just grows where you're just an animal. You're unstoppable.
Yeah. But then Jet will fall off of that at one point.
At some point.
Right? I mean, Carmichael did. James did. Every great athlete in any other parallel sport falls off and has a lull. But what happens and how you get out of it, there's no easy answer. Obviously, look at the lulls that people have.
Yeah, and this is why I got some heat for criticizing a journalist for kind of aggressively and rudely going after Prado about what's wrong. And I'm like, just back off. How you know, you don't understand what he's dealing with mentally. But this guy's in shambles. Yeah. Like, give him some time and space instead of grilling him about why he isn't better. It's like he's dealing with a lot of change, a lot of things.
Yeah.
And ultimately, he's using the bike as he's not comfortable on it. And I agree he's probably not comfortable.
He looks uncomfortable.
But it's like, I don't think it's the bike. You know what I mean? It's mental. And he's got to just figure it out and work himself into that.
Yeah.
And, dude, I've had it where eventually I just took time off. I'm like, I'm not riding for like a couple of months.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to do a hard reset.
Yeah.
It's very, very difficult. So anyway, I totally get it. And that's crazy. What were some of your better experiences over there?
So
I mean, you got to travel around to some pretty amazing places. And
I mean, by the time I was 21, I'd been to, I want to say I was in the high 30s of different countries. Who gets to do that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right? I mean, that was cool. So after I'd say the first 6 months of my first year there in 2010, especially going into 2011, you're at such these rural places that you would never go unless you're there for that one weekend, right? You've got Lockett, you've got Touch and Tall, you've got all these amazing, amazing old history-rich cities. What I fell in love with was people watching. I was by myself all the time. So as dumb as it sounds, every Sunday after every GP, my only goal was leave the track, go shower, throw on some clothes, throw some headphones in, and I would go have a beer in the little town centers. Every town there in Europe pretty much has a square where there's all these bars and there's big fountains in the middle, and it's super peaceful and relaxing. I would go experience one night in that culture by myself every weekend. That was honestly something that probably kept me going through that, as weird as it is. That, again, something that you would never, I'll try this. No, I fell in love with it. So that was one thing that I really, really did enjoy, was just seeing a different place of life that you'd never see.
Do you find, like, when you're in those moments, it's hard to appreciate it? Like every time I ever went to Europe, and sometimes I'd go over for 2 weeks and do a couple of races or whatever, and I'm kind of a homebody. Like I like to be home. Mm-hmm. If I'm going somewhere, I want to just get back as quick as I can. It's just, that's just my wiring. But when I would have to go do these stints overseas or whatever, I would be miserable, even if I'm on a vacation.
Yeah.
Not miserable. I don't want to say miserable.
I was going to say there's something wrong with you.
But just like, I want to get home. Yeah. I don't know, something about it. I'm anxious to get home.
Yeah.
But then I'd get home, and some trips I was miserable. If I went to a race and it was bad weather or it was whatever, I was miserable. But then you get back, and you're like, oh, yeah, that was cool. Oh, we went to that one restaurant. Remember that was cool. Oh, we saw this castle. And it's like, it's better once you're home in retrospect. Or were you really able to appreciate it while you were there?
I think it's kind of a 50-50. I mean, as an 18-year-old, not being able to get a ride here and having to go to Europe and be so miserable was really, really hard to come to terms with, especially because the majority of my issues over there were equipment related. So how do you explain that to an 18-year-old? You don't. The only thing that you care about is going fast and trying to get results and building your career through, racing.
Yeah.
Well, okay, once I realized that you can't control what you can't control, that's where I started to appreciate things. I look back and what Europe taught me, what the good and the bad taught me all across the board. I'm thankful for the way that I think I handled just about all of it. Because I did really start to enjoy things that I'm so thankful that I did. I mean, the simple action for me to at least, that last year that I was there fully, to go experience something, a different culture, and just shut the racing mind off. Dude, you're in a place that no one will ever be that besides people racing there that weekend. No one will ever see.
Yeah.
And I loved that. I loved food. I loved a different culture. I tried stuff. I'd get there on Friday and I'd go walk around downtown by myself. It was a lot of alone time, and I think that people that can learn to be alone can suffer and endure a lot more in life than people that don't.
I think you're right.
And I think that that's a big part of where I am today, and it will be a big part of where I'll end up and wherever this next chapter of my life goes.
Yeah. It's that shows a lot of emotional maturity, because it is hard, especially as a teenager, to be just like okay by yourself.
Yeah.
Going to a movie by yourself, going to a restaurant by yourself.
Yeah.
Ask a 19-year-old to go do that. It's like they can't even fathom it.
Even to this day, one of my favorite things to do, not an alcoholic, but once or twice a week, I drive past a winery on the way home and I have a glass of wine by myself. I leave my phone in my truck and I don't listen to music, and I just sit there in peace, and I love it. A little bit of alone time for me and some silence is how I find peace.
That's good. That's great that you kind of able to work through that. Okay, so what'd you do? 2 full seasons over there?
I did. Well, first season, I think I missed the first 4. Okay. So it was kind of like 1.5 full. And then I came and I said, all right, Europe, no more. And I came here to race West Coast in 2012, and it was the Rocket Exhaust privateer deal. And we had a pretty cool deal that year.
What were you on?
Hondas.
Okay.
Yeah.
So take us through your first, was it Phoenix of 2012, or was there an Anaheim?
There was an Anaheim that year.
Okay.
So Anaheim, I think Ryan Sipes passed me in the last corner of the LCQ for 4th. That bastard.
The general.
And then Phoenix, I think I went 17 What do you got?
11th.
Really?
Yeah. Well, according to
2012?
AMA results. Yeah.
Okay, Oakland was round 2. I went 16. Yeah, and then LA I went 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then 11.
6th at Anaheim too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, a couple top, 6th and a 7th in your first handful of races. Not bad at all.
I think it went Anaheim.
Probably went Anaheim, San Diego, because there's no San Diego in here. Do you go Anaheim, San Diego?
I crashed out of San Diego. I hit my head. I didn't race.
Okay.
So I think I went DNQ, and then, San Diego might have been round 2, and I didn't race. And then I went Oakland, Phoenix, LA, and then that break went east. And then I got a call to go to, that's where I got the call to go to Europe for factory Yamaha.
Ah, okay.
And that's why I didn't race the rest of Supercross that
you
year.
have these different gaps.
Yeah,
and I'm
no,
like,
my career was like the most scatterbrained career. And then we'll talk about the outdoors, which is a whole other story in itself.
Your career needed Ritalin. It was like ADHD all over. Okay, so 2012, you do these rounds, and then you're off to Europe for factory Yamaha. Was this the Dixon?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I get a call right after the two-stroke national and went and won that. And then we're getting ready for the next, West Coast swing to come back after East. And Osborne had gotten hurt. And I had gotten a call from Steve Dixon to come fill in for Osborne for pretty much just Italy. And I go over there. I ride the bike at a local track on Friday. I hadn't rode outdoors since the GPs ended in September. So it had been 4 or 5 months since I rode an outdoor. Wasn't in shape at all for that, not even close. And MXGP schedules were Saturday, 30-minute free practice, 30-minute time practice for your gate pick for your 25 plus 2-minute race on Saturday, for gate pick for both motos on Sunday. That was followed by a 30-minute free practice Sunday morning with 2 35 plus 2-minute motos on Sunday.
Yeah.
So we did suspension testing with Öhlins in Italy near Fermo in 2012. That was like the day I got there.
What was that bike like? You had never ridden a factory bike to that point.
Well, it was a 3-speed.
What?
It was a 3-speed, and it revved to somewhere in the 17s, and it was all Cosworth. Like, it was the equivalent of how I would imagine if you put a Formula One motor in a motorcycle. It was nuts.
Wow.
So, like, first gear was first and second.
I remember Zach came over here and did Anaheim.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was around that window.
Yeah, it was that year.
And I remember hearing his bike going, dude, that thing sounds like a beast.
Yeah.
So that was the bike you're riding.
That bike had 5 gears because of the homologation stuff. But at MXGP, you can get away with a lot more.
So first, second, third, 1 down, 2 up?
Yeah. And I didn't...
Was first super long? I mean, how did it work?
First was super long, and like you were always, and you can remember back to your days riding Supercross, you never want to be between first and second.
Right.
I hated that. So I always was super freaking anal about how I went from first to second gear, but they had a pretty good little neutral star in there. Like, it was really hard to find neutral.
Yeah.
But no, it was a trip. I got used to it pretty quick. It didn't have a low enough first gear in some corners that were really tight, which was a little weird.
A lot of stalling or
just
fear of stalling?
Yeah, like a lot of getting on the clutch coming out of the really tight corners to get it going, and I was never a big clutch guy, so I got used to that. But, 30-minute free practice, I felt pretty good. 30-minute time practice, I think I qualified 7th overall on the, and that was on Saturday. And then qualification race, I think I got 7th, somewhere in there. So I had, basically 7th gate pick for first moto and second moto on Sunday. Well, 30-minute time practice comes in the morning on Sunday. I'm feeling comfortable.
What's that for? If you've already qualified for your gate pick, what's time practice?
30-minute warm-up on Sunday morning. It was like 30-minute free practice.
Okay,
Sunday.
Not time free.
No, sorry. Okay. Yeah, so I went out in that, and I started feeling ridiculous.
What do you mean?
I just started feeling good.
Okay.
And lights just kicked on, and I'm already a little bit sore, which probably helped me feel better. And I remember getting off the track after time practice or free practice Sunday morning, and I'm like, I got some extra in the tank, but I don't know about 2 40-minute motos. Like, it's hot.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the first gate drops, and I click the bike up in the second gear on the line.
Just
imagine starting in 4th gear. Oh, the second I let the clutch out, dude, I got pissed. So around the first corner, dead last, coming across the first start, I think after the first lap in 33rd. I don't remember anything until like 4 minutes to go. I go past the pit board, and it's got P3 on it. And I go over the finish line, and I look back, and I'm like, typo. Keep going.
He must have forgot a one there.
Go past the next lap, and I'm like, there's no way I passed 30 people. I know, like, there's no way I passed 30 people. So I go across the next lap. Yeah, P3, 2 to go. I get off the track. Last lap, last corner, I twist my knee.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, dude, I'm stoked because I got third in the moto. I beat some pretty big names, especially with the last 2 years. Like, it just felt good to have good equipment and do that. Like, it was emotionally deep down for me gnarly. So, dude, I'm like, dude, my knee's all swollen. I'm massive in my knee. I call my dad. He's pissed as hell. And I'm like, dude, I don't know if I can ride this moto. So I go out and do a sight lap, and I'm like, I'll give it the gate drop. Give it the gate drop. I come around the corner like P3, and I pass Van Horbeek. I pass a couple other guys, and I get out front, and I just drop the hammer. And I get a 27-second lead.
What?
Yeah, 27-second lead with about 8 minutes to go, and I pull a tear off, and I smeared blood across my goggles. I pulled my tear off, and I look down at my hand off of one of the jumps. I'm torn completely open. Both hands.
Oh.
Completely torn open. And anyway, I blew my 27-second lead, but at least I had one. And I went 3-3 for second overall. I remember going to the finish line of that second moto, and, dude, it just came out. Like, emotionally. It just...
buckled.
Dude, it just hit me. I still get kind of gnarly about it now, but... just
I had no idea that I didn't no idea about that.
Yeah.
That's rad.
So then following that, it was weird because it was like, well,
What was wrong with your knee? Did you tear something? Or just
my knee, I just sprained it.
Okay.
So it wasn't too bad a week or so later, but I couldn't even ride for 2 weeks because my hands were just completely raw. And anyway, in between that, Bob Moore calls me from Wasserman. I got factory Yamaha offered me this, CLS Kawasaki offered me that, and Suzuki was in the conversation, and everything happened. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to go back to MXGP. And it's like, dude, I went there to just give a big middle finger to the last 2 years of my life that were so difficult for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I never wanted to go back, but I remember I called my dad after the race. He goes, "Are you freaking kidding me?" I said, "Dad, I got second overall. Isn't that cool? Like, I never rode the bike. Hadn't run an outdoor in 4 or 5 months, 6 months. You just lost a 27-second lead."
That's what he comes at you with. Yeah, well, were you? I mean, you weren't fit. Obviously, your hands weren't prepared.
Nobody expected that. Stefan Everett's come up to me and right at the podium, because there's Hurlings and Searle and all the KTM guys are up there, and he comes up and he goes, "Never would have called that." I said, "Me neither." I knew it was in there, but, I mean, as you can relate, there's probably only a few times in your career where you maybe really put that best foot forward on race day. For me, that was really hard.
Yeah, I mean, it happened for me sporadically, that flow state, like you were talking about, just getting into a zone where it's just, you're just hitting everything just right. It doesn't feel like a ton of work. Each of the races, I won 4 Supercrosses, each of those times, I podiumed a couple nationals, each of those times, other motos here and there, but I couldn't do it. It's really hard to do it week in, week out.
Jet, Carmichael.
Yeah,
it's
man,
like, dude, how do they just, it's every day. It's so effortless. And you can have a 9th and ride 10 times harder than probably the 4 Supercrosses combined that you won.
Yeah.
I don't remember those races, how they went for you, but when it's there and you're just one and dude, just everything works, that's what I miss about racing. That's what I miss about riding in general.
Yeah. When you won as an amateur, but then had a couple of really tough seasons where you probably didn't win much of anything.
I didn't win anything after Loretta's.
So then being at a GP, 27-second lead, what a feeling, dude. When you come around, you're just out there by yourself, and he said plus 27.
I saw plus 27 on the leaderboard, and I told my guide.
What point in the moto was that?
8 minutes to go, so you're 28 minutes in, 27 minutes in. I told my guy Josh Pitts, who I took over there with me. He was my motor guy here and et cetera, and he was buddies with Dixon because he helped the team with some of the ECU stuff. And
he's a fuel guy, right?
Yeah, and I just said, dude, every lap, Jimmy McGuire. Is it Jeremy McGuire or Jimmy McGuire?
Jimmy, the freestyle guy?
No, there's the movie.
Jeremy McGuire.
Jeremy McGuire. I said, show me the money. I don't care what lap it is, just put that on there the whole time because there was a big payout, right? I was like, oh, I mean, hey, I got a chance to go clean up on 30, 50 grand or, whatever it is. So anyway, I see 27-second plus, and I'm like, dude, there's Hurlings and Searles somewhere back there, and they're pissed off. It's like they had issues in the first turn, but it doesn't matter. Like, I was gone, and I just faded. I think I dropped 8 seconds a lap from my fast lap. But
yeah, I mean, when you're done, you're done. Like,
there was nothing left, dude. There was nothing left.
What a cool story. Okay, so that was 2012, end of that season.
Mid-season.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many GPs did you do then the rest of that year?
So then I got signed on to do...
You just went over for the one. That was
I just went over for the one.
Okay.
Then I got signed on to do Mexico, which was in Guadalajara. That was a total mess. I did win a race as a professional. I won the qualifying race because all the riders boycotted besides me and Anstie. And I was there riding as a fill-in for Dixon.
Was it Guadalajara where they found a dead body or something in the track?
Yes.
That sounds about right.
Dude, it was such
Just
a
a
wild
head in a
weekend.
corner.
I won't even go down that road.
Well, tell me about it.
But, well, yeah, we show up there Saturday morning, and there's a body basically sprinkled on the entrance. Like, arm that way, leg that way. And then we went to fly out on Sunday afternoon, and there was like 18 dead bodies that were shoved in 2 rental cars and left in the parking garage and right across from the terminal. And, like, dude, it was just like, I don't want to be here. I really don't want to be here. So, anyway.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that, and I just thought, Mexico's wild, dude.
Well, dude, like, and Tortelli put on the race, and then, like, they couldn't get water on the track. And then when they did, it was like it had just monsooned, and it was terrible. It was supposed to be a 5-year deal. That was only a one and done deal. But then after that, so I got mono pretty quick, which is like Epstein-Barr.
Yep.
And I ended up staying at Jamie Dobbs' house in the UK, and I got really sick. I couldn't ride for like 4 or 5 months. So in between all this, I signed a CLS Kawasaki deal with Wasserman, and our deal started September 22nd. On September 19th, I got cleared from mono sometime right after my birthday in late August, and they sent me a letter of resignation. And they tore up my deal on me, and it would have cost me like $400 or $500 to go fight it in Luxembourg. And I gave up and I settled. I never raced a GP after that.
Jeez.
No.
What was their reasoning?
Their reasoning was that I was sick and that I was ill and that I was unfit to ride a season that didn't start until the following March. And I have a lot of choice words for how I would have handled that, and knowing what I know now, what I would have done and what I wish that I did. But the problem was that point of September, you know, I had factory Yamaha and factory Kawasaki on the table. Well, I picked factory Cowie because Yamaha kind of already had their boots filled. Well, this rider switched to go over to CLS, which was Tonus, and then by the time that I couldn't get anything here, they'd already filled a spot over here, and I was left without a seat. And that was that.
I feel like, because I've heard some shady stuff the Lawrences dealt with when they went over there. I keep hearing this story. Like, I've seen that movie before. It happens quite a bit over there where
I don't know.
Guys will get jacked around from their teams. The teams, it just seems like it's harder to go sue or
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, being American, like, you know, you got to go fight a thing in Luxembourg. Dude,
yeah, I mean,
good luck, man.
I know.
You know, and at that point, you know, I was like, okay, well, I had some decent results in Supercross in 2012 at that season. You know, especially being rookie year on our own program out of the trailer that I went to Loretta's in 01 with, literally. And we just decided that we were going to go race Supercross and we were going to write that whole deal off. And I got a measly little settlement out of that deal and went and raced Supercross again in 2013.
And by that point, there's no teams probably open. You're too late.
Everything was too late.
Yeah.
Everything across the board was too late, and the timing sucked. And yeah, I mean, by the time that we decided that we weren't going to go fight it, you're into late October.
Yeah.
Things are done.
My first year, I had been earning Suzuki bucks back in the contingency days, and I had stashed enough money. It was actually I did a couple of races in '93, but in '94, I had Randy Lawrence was my mechanic. I had like a good program put together. Pro Circuit was doing my bikes. And I said, okay, I can do West Coast Supercross, and I got enough money to go to 5 nationals.
Yep.
It's like Glen Helen, Washougal, and we were going to do 1 loop through the East. I think Troy, Unadilla, and Redbud.
Yep.
And I'm like, that's all I got. That's all I have the budget for. And so you kind of get, and I had like a bunch of top 5s in Supercross, and then I had a top 5. I got a 5th at Washougal and a 5th at Troy. And it was just enough because I crashed out at Unadilla, I crashed out at Redbud. I don't remember how the other ones were, but anyway, it's like I had just enough to grab Mitch's interest, right? But like
Yeah.
if those couple of rounds had not gone well,
Mm-hmm.
you're out. It's
a
like
pretty solid season though. Doing it on your own kind of program.
Yeah,
it's not bad
for sure. But I'm just saying that's what you
Yeah.
got to do. And
Yeah.
if you come back and you don't like, it looks like you're 2013. I'm just looking at results here. You got a 10th.
2013 wasn't great.
So I'm saying, so then you've been out of sight, out of mind, even though you had that great ride at the
Yep.
GPs. When you're out of sight, out of mind, it's tough. It's tough to get back.
Yeah.
Brownie is one of the few guys that I can even think of who's come back and gotten a ride here again. Rhino, I guess, did the same thing, but
Yeah.
it's hard. Even if you're over there crushing it.
Ansty
Ansty
went away for a while.
came back better too. Yeah. Good point.
You know, I mean, there's not many that do it, and the respect for the people that have done that. Yeah. Maybe I'll add my name to that list and come back. I don't know.
Don't. So tell me about 2013. What'd you put together?
2013, I don't remember too much of 2013. I think I broke my ankle somewhere, and I raced through 2013 with a broken ankle.
Okay.
I got hurt.
You had a lot of injuries.
I got hurt a lot.
Yeah.
I think my number is over the 120s, which is terrible.
And injuries?
Yeah. Broken bones.
Dang.
It's really, really bad. And, you know, again, being little, being light, having to deal with the bigger bikes, I wasn't able to put weight on when I was little at all. So 2013 was rough. Things definitely get better in 2014, but I never raced outdoors either of the, well, shoot. I had a fill-in for Factory Suzuki in 2013 for the last two outdoors, and I broke my hand in the first moto of Utah. And that was a really, really big kick in the stomach. Because
Who were you filling in for?
Wharton.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep, Wharton.
What would you compare the GPs to our nationals? What kind of compare and contrast those?
I mean, 12 years ago, I would say, you know, the GPs, they're really good at GPs, like how we're, you know, really good at doing Supercross, and our outdoors are, they're just faster pace. MX GPs are much longer weekend, a lot more riding, you know, and it's like, you know, people wonder how the Euros got so good. They ride 3 times of what we ride in an outdoor.
Yeah.
In one weekend.
Yeah.
And they have 20
hours.
of them. Yeah. You know, and we have we used to have 12. Now we got 11. But you just get so much more track time in Europe, and it's patient, right? And you have time to put yourself together. You have time to learn the track. Here, dude, it's like boom, boom, boom. You're in, you're out. Mm-hmm. And I'm a little bit more of a diesel in the sense of it takes me a little bit more to get comfortable. That was something that I struggled with. But those were the only 2 nationals that I ever did.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I never raced another national.
Okay, so 2013, you did your own deal for Supercross. It went all right. Did those couple of rounds, broken hand. Take me into 2014.
2014, we came into 2014 definitely a lot better than we did in 2013. Where are we in 2014? I don't even remember.
Well, you had some good finishes again. 6th at Oakland, 7th at San Diego, 9th at A2. Was this just full privateer deal again?
Full privateer.
Okay.
Full privateer, Pops program, Josh Pitt's engine. We, you know, for me, my dad always preached one thing to me, and I don't disagree with how we did it, was we can control our equipment. And it's going to be way more expensive. However, we can put together what we trust rather than riding something that I don't. And if you think back to 2010 and 2011 for me, having all the mechanicals, electronic issues, ECUs, wiring harness problems, frame stretch, like all kinds of stuff, we just always prefer to do our own deal.
How was your equipment? Because now you've ridden a factory Yamaha. That's,
right.
You know.
I never rode a really good bike over here, especially in Supercross, so I don't have a lot to compare it to, but I do think that our equipment was pretty good.
Okay.
Suspension, I think we had a lot to be desired for. And the ability to ride a real legit Supercross track was a huge disadvantage, especially back then, because the practice tracks locally super tamed down compared to, you know, the test tracks at Honda and Yamaha and et cetera. So the only real tracks that I got to ride was on race weekend. Mm-hmm. So I think suspension-wise for us was tough, and suspension was a key thing for me with my height and weight. So that was a hindrance for me. So 2014 went the way that it did. We didn't race any outdoors. I believe I got hurt training for outdoors the week before the outdoors started in 2014 and wrote that season off.
So you were intending to go do some?
I was intending to go do outdoors in 2014. At least I think we had 5 or 6 that we were going to go do, and that just fell apart. And then leading into 2015 is kind of where I guess the business venture starts somewhat. Is that next on?
Yeah.
Yeah. So 2015, we had a deal with AXO for the first time. Oh, sorry. AXO was 2014. And in sometime in November, December, they were a financial contribution to my race team that was pretty substantial considering everyone else. They had decided to pull out of North America sometime in late November and early December. So we had no gear sponsor in the early part of December for me to go racing with next year, and all the budgets from all the gear companies was already taken up. So we were watching NASCAR, and my dad and I were sitting back in the backyard, watching NASCAR through the window, and you see Lowe's and you see Home Depot and you see all that stuff, and we were like, well, if we don't have a gear deal, why don't we just go to local companies at local places for each weekend, Dallas and Arizona and et cetera, and we'll just plaster big logos on our gear. So we got all white gear from a good buddy of mine in the gear industry for a long time, and we decided that we were going to go the progressive commercial route, just the all white gear, and we did all white bike, all white gear, all white everything. And the only intent at that time was for us to essentially create sponsorship money.
Yeah.
We raised $33,000 in 3 weekends. And round 4, I don't know how did 15 open up for me?
Anaheim 1 is 10th.
And then Phoenix.
And then it looks like Phoenix.
Yeah, so
A2,
still not phenomenal. And in Oakland, I think I actually qualified 5th or 6th. And second practice, the last time practice of the day, I went over the bars, and it was a 3-5-3, so it was a triple, and I C-pounced, and it was just one of those C-pounces where it's bad. And by the time my front wheel was over the second jump in the rhythm, my seat was touching my butt and my shoulders as I stepped through, and it kicked me, and I landed into the 4th jump on both feet, and broke both ankles, and I knew I shattered my right ankle substantially. And that was the biggest injury in my career, and that was the one that really started at that point to reshape and change my trajectory of where I am today. That was a tough one.
Yeah, those are brutal, coming back from both legs, surgeries, I'm sure, on both, and the whole deal.
Yeah, I mean, my left leg didn't need surgery, but my right leg was tib fib, but the problem was the calcaneus, which is your heel, and then your talus, where your tib fib rotate on, and your navicular and cuboid or whatever. We had surgery there, and they put a couple screws through my talus and navicular joint. The navicular is like the lowest blood supply bone in the body, so it rarely ever heals. And I didn't ride for like 8 months, and it wasn't great even after, I think, into like October. Started riding in November, signed a Larry Brooks Blue Buffalo deal going into 2016, and foot fell apart at A1. I rode the first 5 rounds in 16 with a broken leg. Couldn't start my bike, couldn't walk, couldn't train during the week, couldn't do anything. Still think I had a 6th or something or 7th in Oakland.
7th in Oakland, yeah.
And after that, I went and went to the doctor in 16, and we decided to fuse the talus navicular joint, and dude, from there I didn't walk for about 11 months.
Jeez.
Yeah. And that was...
So that was where your 2017 went?
Yeah.
Because your results are missing there.
Yeah.
God, just a whole year. So what'd you do?
Well, so in 2015, we did the all-white gear, and that's where Canvas was born. So I crashed in Oakland, and that Saturday night I had an email on my phone from Ricardo Dominguez, who owns Radical, and they're in Argentina, him and his brother Nestor.
Okay, I remember that stuff, yeah.
And they said, oh, hey, we can make you this all-white and all-black gear. And at the time, that was never even a thought. But throughout the first month of this whole, 2015 campaign, I had everyone and their mother ask me where they can get all the white blank gear from, because that was never a thing. You'd never think to sell all white gear. So they hit me up, and I sent it to my mom. And the next 10 days, I was in the most pain that I've ever been in. And then when things kind of freed up and eased up, I was like, hey, Mom, whatever happened to that email? And she goes, you got to meet these guys. These guys are the greatest guys ever, and they got this whole proposal for you, and you should start a gear company and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I got nothing better to do. Might as well. So I started the brand Canvas from there. That's how that kind of all happened.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And you were like you said, $33,000 in 3 rounds.
Yeah.
You were, roughly $11,000 you were raising per round.
Again, Look at what every other mainstream sports organization does and adapt it into ours. Why haven't NASCAR works in such a way with title sponsor that you have no idea that Alpine Star and Simpson make every driving suit that those drivers wear. You have no idea.
Yeah.
That is such the opposite from what we see in our world. You've got, now it's changing, right? Especially 10 and 15 years ago when this happened, I guess 10 years ago, you had a Fox logo this big. Now you've got Fox here and Monster here. We're going and evolving in that direction. But gear companies, I guess, to a certain extent, serve a little bit different of a purpose in our industry just from the way that the heritage of this industry started with Hallman and all the stuff from back in the day and the way that it originated. Where NASCAR, it was really more about a billboard for a lot of the big main, Fortune 500 companies, which we don't have in our industry. And we're starting to get a few now. But that's kind of where that whole idea came about. It's not anything new. It's something that's worked again in another industry that I'm trying to pave a path and adapt into ours.
Yeah. I love it, dude. All your business ideas are super forward thinking. Again, it's not like you're creating it out of thin air, but it's like
adapting.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Why aren't we doing that?
Yeah.
I feel like our sport has this stumbling block where this is the way we've always done it.
Right.
This is the way it is.
Right.
It's like, well, maybe there's a better way,
100%. And, I love this sport. I got a big chip on my shoulder in a lot of ways from the sport, of certain ways that, my career kind of played out from, at least from day one, what I set out to do. I accomplished very little of that. But, my parents were always entrepreneurs, and, growing up watching them, whether I was inspired or not by then, I think is irrelevant. But I think that that's where the brain starts turning in the way that it does. And, here we are today, and I own 4 or 5 businesses now. And, it's all a foundation that my parents put in front of me.
Yeah.
Whether I was watching it or not, subconsciously paying attention.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
My dad used to always say, like, he was a big entrepreneur his whole life, and so he was always pushing me to start my own business. I'm like, as a racer, I wanted stability. Mm-hmm. That's a big reason why I went towards the fire department. I don't want to fight for my job every single race, every single day, every single season. I'd done that for a decade of zero stability, right? Yeah. But I realized after watching my dad and living with him and him having basically just everything on his shoulder, same reason we like motocross and not basketball is because you want the responsibility. You're either going to succeed or fail based on your efforts. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Working for a company, you're just this tiny little thing inside of it where if it's your company, you can grind and have the success. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've kind of learned, like my dad was right all along. I'm not meant to be an employee.
Isn't that such a kick to the gut when you realize that your parents are right 90% of the time? Damn it! Again, just don't tell them.
if you have good parents, you should probably listen to them.
Yeah.
Because they probably know a lot better than you.
Yeah.
So okay, keep me rolling here. So 2017, you're just out healing.
2017, I'm out healing.
Are they good by the end of that year? Like, are you?
No. So when it gets good is a funny story. But 2017, not one race. No, nothing. And then I'm getting ready at the end of 2017. I'm not walking well. I'm getting up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, hopping. I can't walk downstairs. My foot's still really red. Like, I even have photos in 2018, 2 years after surgery, of my foot being like Honda red, and this foot's totally normal skin tone. But
you sent me a picture of, I think, right, of both of your feet all cooked up, and it's
dude, it was really, really bad, and it was the first thing that was like, okay, like, there's no way I'm not amputating this foot in 10, 15 years. I mean, there's no way. Like, this thing's not healing. I'm going to the doctor. They don't know what to tell me. You got to fuse in the next stage, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, I just was, like, not riding for 15 months. Mm. What do you mean do another one? No, like, my career window's just closing, and it's collapsing, and I'm starting my business mind. Then, one of the bad things that Canvas created for me with racing was I understood finances to a certain extent, that racing really made no sense. And that was a struggle for me that I hadn't really expressed and talked much about with my family, and that really put the brakes on for me. So going into 2018, one of the more cringeworthy parts of my career was there was the IB Corp deal. You remember that?
Just vaguely. Wasn't there like a TV show?
It was a TV show, and
it?
it was me, and it was Wharton, Martin Costello, and Justin Heft was in there.
Okay.
And the concept behind the show would have been cool if the storyline wasn't trying to be fake, right? And
it was scripted.
It was so scripted. And like there was amazing stories. I'm not going to say that my story was amazing, but there was something there to talk about. But Justin Heft and his brother and Blake Wharton and his path and his music and Blake Wharton's mind and how he worked with testing and racing was just super, super cool to get in the back end of. And maybe for an average viewer, that's something that they can't correlate with. But for me, it was really cool. I really enjoyed my time with Blake. But I went there because the bikes were good, and it was essentially the same bike that I was going to go pay my own money to go do rather than go do that. And anyway, I think I broke my wrist right before Anaheim won in the whoops.
Was this team based out of Texas?
It was here.
It was here?
Yeah,
okay.
It was here. It was actually out of Jamie Ellis's shop where he has Twisted now.
Okay.
Same spot. And
that's right. I remember that.
Yeah. And then, I think I only had a couple races in there in between, and by the time I got going, the season ended. And I didn't race an outdoor that year. I couldn't tell you exactly what my reasoning was. And then going into 2019, we were going to go do our own full program, and I had a absolute hell of a time with electrical problems with wiring harnesses going through December into 2019. I think I only raced one Supercross in 2019, and I think I only had 3 days on a Supercross track before I went there, and it was a Triple Crown. And I think I went like 16, 12, 9 for 12th, 14th overall. I don't know.
14th.
14th. And I was pretty sure I was done after that. I was just burnt out, beat up, bruised, couldn't walk right. And going into 2020, canvas had started to evolve. Canvas kind of turned into like full custom gear from that point. It got away from the all just black and white, and we started customizing and sublimating and, doing everything that, any other gear company can do, but one of one, not, one of 5,000 or one of 20,000. And I thought, what if we went and funded it? If I can fund it to a certain degree, I'll go race the first 5 of West Coast just for fun. Let me go leave off on a good note. In 2020, I had a pretty good program. My race bike was my practice bike. My practice bike was my race bike. Like, my equipment was awesome. My body was just gone.
Ankles were the biggest issue?
Ankles were the problem. Yeah. I think I got 11th. Anaheim won. And then had some rough finishes after that. And then in San Diego, in the last time practice, I was struggling. And there was 2 whoop sections back to back and went left, 10 or 12, and then right, and then 10 or 12. And I was going through the second set, and the rear wheel dropped pretty far down, and it was tacky, and the bike went, popped my shoulder out. Wheel tapped the last 2 one-handed, shoulder stayed out, dropped the bike, went over to the at the time it was Asterix, not Alpine Star, and I went up to him. It was a new guy. I didn't know who he was. I'm like looking for Bodner. I'm looking for Alexander. I'm like, where's my guys? And I went up to the guy and I was like, dude, pop my shoulder. And he's like, you'll get disqualified. I said, I don't bleeping care. Like, dude, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'll never forget the second that it clicked out in the middle of the whoop section. I knew. It was a non-question for me. That was the end. I was done. So anyway, this guy won't put it in. I get it around and I click it, and it's just this breath of just letting everything out. I went back to the truck. My dad comes back. What do we got to do? What do we do? Dad, we're done. Oh, all right. We'll get ready for next weekend. No, Dad, I'm done.
We're done.
That was end of the road. End of the road. And it was so instant. I knew. It's weird. It was one of the only things in my life that I can say that, like, they say when you know, you know. I knew. That was that. But
yeah, I feel bad for guys who don't get that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you don't have that moment, like, yep, that's it.
But
guys struggle harder. Because I had the same thing you did. I was like, I'm done.
But even for you being done, you still have to think. Like, was there ever that for you?
I was never interested in coming back to racing. I was, of course, just like you. I mean, I had set out, I wanted to be champion and blah, blah, blah. And I struggled with that for a while. But I had like a bunch of guys, even Greg Albertine, he was the one that kind of stuck with me. He goes, dude, you don't think I wanted more? And I'm like, Greg, you're a 3-time world champion, a national champion. Like
grass is always greener kind of thing.
He goes, yeah, but I wanted to win Supercross. Like that was my whole goal of coming over here. And he goes, I didn't win one. I didn't win. I don't think he even won a race, or did he win at LA one year?
I don't know.
Anyway, didn't meet his goals, right? And so his point was, it doesn't matter your level of success. Pretty much everyone has some regrets or some, man, if I could have just done that.
Yeah.
Because you just be happy with what you did. A ton of people would have loved to have done what you did, just like you said.
Yeah.
You led a GP, you podiumed a GP. You know what I mean?
I got paid to travel the world at 17 to 21. Insane, incredible.
Yeah.
But no, I mean.
So I get it. It's hard, but like I said, I think it helps that you had that moment because at
for
least
sure.
you go, all right, fresh start. What's next? Let's focus on this instead of going, oh man, I still kind of want to, So those are the guys that I think have the toughest time with it.
So back to the foot real quick, just to close that off. So 2020, I'm done. 2022, I'm walking my dog 100 feet from my house. I step off a curb. I'm on the floor. I am crying.
Did you roll it
crying.
or what happened?
No, I just stepped off. Landed normal, everything normal. Something popped. I'm crying. And I hop back up to my house with my dog. It's like midsummer, sweating bullets. I get inside and it would kind of come and go a little bit, but dude, from then forward for the next month, I would do something and it would be excruciating. It would be like if you're just grinding bones raw on each other forever, right? Then it would kind of go away and simmer down for a day or two, and then it would come back. So I go to the doctor. One of the screws snapped.
Oh.
I had surgery.
Ugh.
And I had surgery, by the way. I went on a night dual sport ride. My surgery was at 5:30 in the morning. I went on a night ride from 8 at night to 2:30 in the morning. Slept an hour. Walked into surgery. And about 5 months later, my foot was almost as good as new.
Really? Just taking the hardware out? Or
the next joint, I had 2 bones that were not completely taken away from each other, and the joint was gone. And somewhere in 2017, during the whole healing process, that went away, and those bones were just rubbing on each other that whole time, and that's what broke the screw. And then when the screw broke, it was just raw on itself. Anyway, I'm much better now than I was then, but it's that's that thing in the back of my mind. What happens had I had that second surgery in 2017? Had I felt the way that I do now physically, probably could still be racing. Not only that, but a lot of the guys that I was competing with in, let's call it 16 to 17, all have factory rides and are doing pretty well right now. And that's one thing that I will always fight, which eventually they'll all be done and it won't matter anymore. And I'm more and more at peace with it every year, but it's I don't know, bitter about the way that it went.
Well, we're competitors, dude. There's always going to be that nagging little thing.
Yeah.
But I got to believe stuff happens for a reason.
100%.
And I think if you can, I've gained a new perspective on it. And I feel like, obviously, if a guy is winning championships, that's insane. It's so hard to do.
Yeah.
They deserve all of the praise they get. But I really appreciate it when a guy comes out of racing and does something and is successful post-racing.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to just know how to ride a bike well, but to be able to now transition and put that into something different, whatever that is, I think it's awesome. Yeah. And I think you're doing that. So I wouldn't, hopefully that doesn't hang you up too much.
It doesn't. Just something I think about.
So for 2020, Oakland was the last race you did.
San Diego.
Okay. Yeah. That's where you kind of got hurt.
Yeah.
You haven't raced since then, national or anything?
No.
Okay. And that you've just been grinding on all the new business stuff. Couple quick things. Mono or Epstein-Barr, it's kind of the same. Somehow they're related. It's the same virus. One causes the other or something.
Yep.
How hard was that for you? Explain that, because I think we heard a lot about it in the sport for a while. Might be what AP is going through now.
Yeah, and I know AP. I've not asked him. I don't know. It's not my business. But watching what's happening to him and what we kind of saw there, it was Millville, where it's he's just dropping back. So I podiumed 2012 in Fermo, and I thought I just got tired. And if you go look at all the traits of mono, your skin gets weak, your white blood cell count goes through the roof, and your red blood cell count drops. So your red blood cells is what basically helps you recover, from my understanding. The white blood cells
fight infection.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So your white blood cells blow your spleen up, and it can't filter your blood, and then your body has no way of getting any nutrients, and it just shuts down. It just stops. So anyway, I get tired. My hands fall apart. I don't think anything of it until about 3 or 4 weeks later. I think there was an MXGP in between there. That was a moto I did terrible. And that was in Brazil. And then we came back for St. Jean in France. And I got like a second or third place start in the qualification moto, trying as hard as I could. I had finished, I think, 22nd. Like, dude, something was just wrong. And I had been home 4 days before that, got a blood test. So Sunday morning, race day morning, I wake up with like 18 missed phone calls from my mom. She goes, don't ride, can't ride, can't ride, can't ride. Well, my doctor had got the blood results back on Saturday. Called her, make him stop riding right now, immediately. I started to have trouble breathing. I had big pain.
You can rupture your spleen.
Yeah, I had huge pain in my stomach. Like, something was wrong. I started to get a sore throat, and I'm like, dude, something's just wrong. And like, in that qualification moto, I was riding just as hard as I did 4 weeks before when I was 27 seconds out front.
Yeah.
Something was wrong. So anyway, I wasn't allowed to fly home for like 4 weeks. I stayed at Jamie Dobbs' house up in the UK. They took care of me. And then I finally was able to fly home. And I was like 2-3 months that like, dude, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't ride my spin bike. I didn't want to play video games. I just slept.
Slept a lot.
Yeah.
Were you having pain? Like body aches, joint aches?
Just that fatigue that we all feel, but 24/7.
Yeah.
Like to where your arms feel like they're 100 pounds. Like it was terrible. It was terrible. So that was a weird lull to go through for sure.
Well, it used to be really prominent. You know, it seemed like a lot of guys were getting it. Just constant training, constant racing, constant travel. Your immune system gets run down. You get bombarded on planes with all the crap, and puts them into that hole. But my wife just had it. And
oh, really?
We thought she had lupus. Like, we were kind of all over the map trying to figure out what was going on because she's having crazy joint pain and body aches and night sweats and just slept all day.
I remember the night sweats being insane. I went through like 4 mattresses over those 2 months. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
Like, I would wake up in a pool, and it would be weird because if I didn't sleep, I was fine. But the second I fell asleep, dude, night sweats like you would not even believe. It was disgusting.
Yeah, well, I'm sleeping next to her. I got to put water wings on. But I'm learning about it now, obviously, with her, and I'm like, I just didn't. My wife's tough, and she was crying every day.
Yeah.
And it was like a 2-month deal. She's kind of trending up.
You're so foggy. You're just so out of it, and nothing's wrong. Especially for you and I, we're used to looking at a cast on our arm. Yeah. Oh, I got a broken arm. It's like the same with head injuries. You don't see the problem, right? Even with Epstein-Barr, it's like you just feel a certain way, and then you start getting back on the bike, and you're like, okay, is this mono, or am I just out of shape, or I need to push through this, or do I not? I have no idea what to do. That was just a hard transition to go through.
Yeah, crazy, man.
Yeah,
that's gnarly. Somewhere along here, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't even know the years. I guess it would have been between 2000 and 2010. The pit bike scene was going nuts. Mm-hmm. Did you ever do the Mini Moto Supercross?
Where was Mini Moto?
It was at the Orleans in Vegas. Remember that?
No.
Okay, that was before your time.
I was big into pit bikes back then. Because, I was like 18 years old and fit it perfectly. And we just did the stuff locally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Did you ever go to the Sandy Valley one?
No.
Dude, there was this gravity cavity, and I think it was like a 120-foot step up.
On a pitter?
On a 110. Like, dude, our 110 was like a 180 big bore, and it had 65 front and rear shocks on it. Like, it was nuts. I have a photo of it somewhere. It's actually bitching.
Well, I remember you got into it with somebody here at an Elsinore race.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the kid. Parker?
I can't either.
Is it Parker?
I don't know.
Okay, well, whoever.
The Palmers.
But like, oh yeah, Palmers. That's what it was.
Yeah.
But like, it's so funny to me how pit bike racing started really back in the old, was it Krusty's or Moto Triple X?
Fast 50s, 50 nuts.
Yeah, like it was just for fun. Z50s. It was
Kelly
really
Tedder.
Yeah, and then it transitioned to we're on kids' bikes.
Yeah.
But I was the guy that owned Red Baron was a buddy of mine. So I'm on a 124 dual overhead cam.
Yeah.
This thing made so much horsepower.
Yeah.
It was like strapping a rocket underneath you. Knees are up by your ears, and we're out there racing in a stadium. It just was like such a funny little cliff note in moto history to me.
Yeah, the 110 stuff's fun. My buddy is Steven, and we've got a little 110 track right now over in Marietta, over by Greer Ranch. And It's fun.
Well, we did a pit bike test there once, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
We'll
we still go ride over there.
Do you?
Yeah.
My knees won't bend enough to do it anymore, so the dream's over for me. I'm having a lot of regrets about it.
You're not that tall.
My knees just don't like that. Yeah, I'm not risking it. Okay, so I guess this was you kind of answered this, but this is our Seat Concepts hot seat question. You guys need a seat cover, complete seat. Go to our friends at Seat Concepts, especially dual sport seats. You tried one of their comfort seats?
I did.
Oh,
I actually had one on my bike up in Kennedy.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's a game changer. Was the reason, you kind of talked about your reasoning to stop racing. Was it difficult or no? I guess we've kind of covered that. Yes and no. Like, you knew right away, but you still struggle with it a little bit.
Of course. Yeah.
You ever talk to anybody about that? Other racers, like, get any info?
I mean, it's fun to bench race, right? And just talk about, it's like up in Kennedy Meadows, I was with buddies that I used to race all the hot summer nights with and stuff on 60s and 80s. And I think the further away from it I get, the better I feel about everything and the more that everything, I don't know. I've not really gone through the whole MXGP story in depth like that in a long time. It's cool to look back on it. It actually brings back to so many memories that I guess you forget about over the years. Mm-hmm. And a lot of really cool stuff there. A lot of stuff buried in there, but
I'm sure there's some as much as there's good memories, you got some unpleasant emotions that
for sure
come up.
That's what makes the whole story cool, though. I mean, again, how many kids get to go do that? And I think number one, how many kids get to go do it, but number two, how many kids actually live and push through that? Like Thomas Covington, Zach Osborne, myself. Who else has done it in the last 20 years?
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of guys. I mean, we've had a couple of young kids, but they didn't have a ton of success over there.
They were there for a short amount of time. Mm-hmm. And that short amount of time isn't just necessarily the fact that they couldn't stay over there. It's that it's hard to do. It's really hard to do. And just to be there alone and
yeah. And you're lucky you weren't a picky eater. Like, I was a really picky eater when I was younger.
I was terrible.
Were you?
Oh, terrible. Dude, I learned how to make 3 things. And it's easier to do it over there than it is here. Because, like, I lived rurally in pretty small towns where everything was pretty, like, farm,
close,
fresh grown,
yeah.
nearby, right? So, like, you can make really simple stuff and it'd be pretty dialed. But, dude, like, I would do chicken and zucchini and rice and probably 5 nights out of the week. I can eat the same thing every day and be fine.
Really?
Yeah. But because I like what I like.
Yeah. I was just very picky, so when you'd go to different countries and the food is different, I struggled.
The one place that I really had a hard time was Czech Republic. Well, Czech, I don't know what it's called, but
it's Czech Republic.
Locket, it's you go to any restaurant there and it's you can smoke inside. That was tough.
Yeah.
That was tough. And it's like, what are you going to do? Eat outside when it's 40 degrees out and snowing? No.
Brutal.
Yeah. Terrible.
All right. Hey, we're going to take a fast break here. This is your Torley Designs timeout. Stick around. We're going to be back to keep going here with Michael Leib. In the motocross graphics game, customization is key. TBD MX can bring any of your design concepts to life. Simply fill out a design request and they will email you a concept for approval. TBD MX also has a showroom full of designs to choose from on their site. Whether you just want number plate backgrounds or a fully custom kit, the TBD MX crew has you covered. Visit tbdmx.com today and get the look you want.
There is a reason every AMA championship in the past decade was won on Dunlop tires. They are the best. Choose the best performing tire and a brand that has never wavered in their support of our sport. Choose Dunlop. Pro Circuit. Pro Circuit products are designed with one goal in mind: winning. Through passion and hard work, Pro Circuit has operated the most successful 250 team in the history of the sport. They use that same formula when developing exhaust, engine, and suspension parts for every brand. When only the highest level of performance is acceptable, trust Pro Circuit.
At Seat Concepts, our handcrafted seats are made in America. Visit us online or call today. Seat Concepts. Ride the world with us.
Something from nothing. That's what Nihilo Concepts is about. It starts with a spark, an idea, a concept, which leads to a design, and finishes with engineered excellence with the highest quality products created with durability in mind. All our products are made in the USA at our state-of-the-art facility in Stuart, Florida. Whether you are a weekend warrior, ride for fun, or at the highest level of competition, Nihilo Concepts offers innovative titanium, aluminum, and carbon fiber parts for your dirt bike. We offer a wide variety of products that you can customize to your liking. Browse our site for foot pegs, brake tips, engine components, specialty tools, frame grip tape, lever grips, carbon fiber components, motor stands, our secondary on-switch, plus much more. Head to NihiloConcepts.com and see for yourself why factory teams like Red Bull KTM, Rockstar Husqvarna, Troy Lee Designs Gas, Orange Brigade, Club MX, KLM Gas, and some of the fastest riders in the world choose Nihilo Concepts.
The inspiration for Element, interestingly, was from working with my coaches. I sat down with those guys. I'm like, hey, here's what I'm doing. What should I do? And they looked at everything and they were like, you need more electrolytes, specifically sodium. And like most people do when they have a coach, I ignored what their advice was. You're kind of like, well, I salt my food, I'm probably good. And it took me at least a year to finally listen to these guys and do what they asked me to do. And it was just a switch flip. It was just so obvious that this was the critical missing piece to the story. And it's ironic that this salt piece was like the linchpin, the keystone to making all the rest of that work.
Arc levers are the most durable and reliable on the market. They have the most premier class championships of any aftermarket lever. Arc is the only ratio adjustable folding lever on the planet, and their patented design is precision machined in-house right here in the USA. The occasional tip over on the bike is inevitable. Broken levers? Those are optional. Visit arclevers.com today. Toyota has become synonymous with reliability, and for good reason. Toyota vehicles are consistently rated #1 by Consumer Reports and in customer satisfaction. Partner that with a dealership that wholeheartedly supports the motocross community, and it's crystal clear where you should buy your next car or truck, Toyota of Redlands. As a major partner of the BarX Yamaha racing team, as well as personal sponsor of many factory racers and a premier partner of the Whiskey Throttle Show, Toyota of Redlands is heavily invested in moto. Check out all the new and used Tundras, Tacomas, and other vehicles at Toyota of Redlands today. Reliability, performance, and customer service. Get it all at Toyota of Redlands. Need to replace something on your bike that's worn out? Look no further than Pro-X. These guys aim to make everything OEM quality or better at an affordable price. And they've also got some new products coming. So right now, chains, sprockets, anything inside the engine internally, air filters. If it wears out, Pro-X makes it, and they make it at a quality level that's OEM or better. And they've got some new things coming that are awesome. A complete engine rebuild kits for the Polaris RZR 800s. Need to replace something on your bike that's worn out? Look no further than Pro-X. These guys aim to make everything OEM quality or better at an affordable price. And they've also got some new products coming. So right now, chains, sprockets, anything inside the engine internally, air filters. If it wears out, Pro-X makes it, and they make it at a quality level that's OEM or better. And they've got some new things coming that are awesome.
The Specialized Science Club introduces the Levo 4. An electric mountain bike so advanced, it borders on sorcery. Together, you and the Levo 4 become a harmonious hybrid of organic and synthetic. It's a rider-enhancing machine that transforms you into a cycling cyborg. 720 watts of power and 111 Newton meters of torque, amplifying your mortal muscles, allowing you to bend space and time to your will. All channeled through futuristic suspension, with honed geometry, granting super control while traversing extreme terrain at hyper speed. With supernatural power delivery, you'll have super traction to conquer climbs where others spin out. And you'll tire, if at all, before the bike does. Thanks to the Levo 4's super range.
Every good podcast show has got to have an underwear sponsor, right? Well, we went right to the top, Ethica. These guys make the best underwear. If you haven't tried a pair, you don't know what you're missing. Your life hasn't even started yet. So try a pair of Ethicas on. Go to Ethica.com. Use our code WHISKEY20. Get you 20% off. And give all of your nether regions a break, man. It's vacation time for the boys. These things are comfortable. You're riding. Your butt's not going to get all chafed. These things are awesome. And guess what? They don't just make underwear. No. Tees, hats, beanies, sweatshirts, shorts for kids, ladies, toddlers, old people, everybody. You name it. They make them. You know what else they make? Moto gloves. I didn't even know that. I just found it out. So get over to Ethica.com. Check them out. These guys are awesome. Whiskey20. Use our code. Don't cheat me now. Get 20% off and put your buns in the best undies around. Ethica.com. Welcome back. That was your Troy Lee Designs timeout. Get over to TroyLeeDesigns.com. Check out everything they've got going on. You need your helmet painted, name, number, mountain bike gear, moto gear. It's all ready to rip. Check out TroyLeeDesigns.com. All right, jumping back into your story here. And some of this we've kind of already touched on, but, you know, I love that you've just gone after the business side of things after racing. All of your stuff is kind of forward-thinking to me. You're doing things that other people... no one else has tried before, and I dig that.
Thank you.
Do you get the same rush from doing business that you did racing? Like, have you kind of been able to exchange one for the other?
It's funny that you say that because, like, I think that the scariest thing, and, I mean, you can be a perfect testament for it, like, one of the scariest things in me quitting racing was not having that feeling, that flow state somewhere else, and that was, I think, the biggest thing for me that was, man, how can I live my life without having that? You know, it's like, dude, you're wrestling on a 220-pound motorcycle and it feels like it's an extension of you. Think about how few people will ever know what that feeling is like, right? You're controlling rotating chaos. In business, in certain aspects, I really like big challenges. It's just always been a thing. I was that way with racing. I'd go climb Mount Baldy twice and do 14,000 feet in elevation, do my first 100-mile ride on my bicycle. That was what I did. You know, I didn't start small and go flat. I went and climbed Mount Baldy twice. You know, with business, I've definitely maybe been a little bit naive in how big of a bite that I've taken, but it's also really, really fun and enjoyable when you do figure out certain things in that aspect, especially things that no one else has really done, and pave a new path. Yeah. So that's been a little bit of a rush for me, of a different rush. It's a financial rush. It's how are you controlling what's happening in a world that you really grew up not knowing anything about. Yeah, I've watched my parents, you know, from afar, but like I said earlier, subconsciously you're kind of seeing it, but you have no idea what you're looking at until you get into it. And then, okay, I've been in it a few years now, and my last 3 years have been insanely difficult in more ways than one, but yeah, I think that you start to find different ways and, you know, to kind of find that feeling back, but you've got to chase it. Yeah. And people that don't chase that, and people that maybe have made pretty good money where they can just do a little bit and get by and don't have to do a lot but don't need to do much, those are the people that I think are really sad, that they don't have to figure it out. I had to figure it out. I had to go pave a path for me at, you know, essentially 30 years old and step into the business world with really no safety net. No safety net, no nest egg from racing, just a battered, broken bag of bones and
a cool limp.
Exactly. Break your foot walking your dog.
Well, there's definitely a rush you get from riding, and you know, you can talk to any former racer. You can go surf, ski. I don't care the sport. Nothing will replace it. Yeah. You can find some things that will distract you.
Yeah.
or, you can focus your attention on it and it's fun, you enjoy it. It's not like moto. There's nothing like it.
And I've done my best to I can't even say it.
Compartmentalize.
Yeah, that one. And kind of break it up in certain aspects and say, it's like, okay, I've gone through a couple different phases of life now, and a lot of those phases have only been in the last 10 years, especially when you break down the last 5. But that was what that part of my life was. Now there's the different part of my life that I enjoy riding that I wouldn't have ever enjoyed then.
Yeah.
Being out, hanging out, cruising down trails on back roads, stopping at a bar in the middle of the woods and having a beer and just bench racing with your buddies or getting on about other business talks and other things, and that's what I've enjoyed now. So trying to break up different parts of my life and say, okay, hey, that was a part of my life, and man, look at the things that I got to go do and look what I achieved. Bag that up, put that aside, and now this is me today.
Yeah.
So, and now my rush, that I'm really getting is out of my business and what I'm doing and what I'm trying to create. And it's like, it's funny. Every year, it's like I think I'm working as hard as I can possibly work, and then I look back at the year before where I thought you couldn't work harder, and you're like,
somehow I am.
Oh,
yeah.
And we've 2 times that, 3 times that, So I'm trying to find it still.
What's been the hardest part? Like I'm not good at bookkeeping and accounting. Just the organizational side of that.
Yeah.
I've argued so many times, like I need to just hire somebody because this isn't my wheelhouse. And I'm like, dude, I need to learn it.
Yeah.
Excel spreadsheets and just, QuickBooks and all of that. And not my wheelhouse. I can sell the ads, or
Right.
sell the things, and I'm good with, content creation side and things like that. But the organizational business side, which is super important, I'm not great at. I mean, what's been for you kind of a challenge?
My challenge has been kind of self-inflicted to a certain aspect because, when I started Canvas in 2015, we started making it for the first 3 years out of Argentina, and it was hands-off for me. So it was get the gear in, ship it out, do what I got to do the sales, keep track of the emails, have a bookkeeper do that. The first thing I did was hire an accountant to handle because I did like month 6, EDD letters and IRS letters. Nothing bad, but like, dude, what is this? I'm freaking out. Nope. First person I'm hiring is that. Right.
Yeah.
So I took that off from an early stage. Didn't want to get in trouble there. And then I would say getting into 2022 when, I started Lucid, which is our manufacturing entity, and we started that here in Marietta. And, we're the first people to really make motocross gear here in about 50 years. Well, 35, 40, somewhere in there. How we set it up to run was my partners in Argentina were, pretty much going to manage the shop from afar, and it got difficult on that side, and no lack of their job or mine, just things needed to be handled on a little bit more of a hands-on basis. And I know nothing about production. I know nothing about motocross. I remember when we were setting up the shop, and they're like, "Oh, here's how you cut a jersey on." I'm like, I'm never doing that. Like, I'll do it once, but like, I'll never need to do this again.
Yeah.
It's like, why teach me? Well, you never know when you're going to need to, do these things. Yeah, dude, whatever. We got this. This will be easy. Well, then you start becoming the best cutter on your team. And then, your employee's cutting 40 jerseys and you're cutting 100. And then, the one thing I can never do is sew. I learned how to do every other job. I can do Illustrator. I can print. I could sublimate. I can cut. I could ship like no tomorrow. But sewing, zero chance. So,
No go.
So for me, it's the last 3+ years have really been more about how to produce the product efficiently so that we can have a manufacturing company that, can really supply the scale of growth that we can, bring in with sales. And I've had to learn it all from ground up with no experience. So I can't go down the street and look at how another company manufactures motocross gear, especially custom motocross gear. I'm the only one that really does custom. How to match other gear companies' product to pants that are getting made overseas and make sure everything's right and the fitment's right, and vented jersey material fits different than other material. Like, it's just been so much more of this other aspect of managing payroll with employees and having the overhead of rent and how this all amortizes across into one thing. And then also finding the right partners that, I've never really had a lot of partners on the ground with me until very recently. Those have been the harder things for me rather than necessarily the accounting, the organization on that end. Just
manufacturing process. Yeah. That's something we don't deal with, but
putting the baseline of the foundation of the business that we need to be the most solid together has really been a struggle. And we're about to take our next big step, taking the last 3 years of what we learned and evolving it into ultimately a bigger picture of bringing a lot of the Asia gear market into North America and on a big scale, and trying to bring that market here in the way that I've kind of been able to prove concept with on a smaller scale, and just take it up a few notches and see where this all goes. But that's been my biggest struggle, was really kind of figuring out the workflow, the foundation. I came into this and knew nothing, you know, and now we're making gear for majority of the main big gear companies. Can't say exactly who, but that's been a really, really cool, rewarding process of now we're able to evolve and take it to this next step. And again, like I said, I'm getting my rush out of doing things that no one has really ever done. Mm-hmm. Replica jerseys, it's a shame that it's not been our sport until now. I shouldn't have been the one to do it, but here we are. Manufacturing, you know, motocross gear in North America, there's a reason why no one's done it, and I've figured out why the hard way, right? But with that, I think I'm solving a big piece of that puzzle, and what we're about to take a next step with here in the next week or two. And just, I mean, you know, you tell me 4 or 5 years ago the connection that I would have with our employees here that were mostly, you know, Hispanic, and the people and the walks of life that I got to reenact with, and just understand how they grew up and where these people came from. They know nothing about our world, and we know nothing about theirs. And I think that that's a big piece of where Europe kind of brings into today, you know, what I do and how I'm doing it, because I genuinely care, and it's just been such an eye-opening, cool experience to learn about these people and become close with our team and our people. And I'm honestly having a lot of fun. It's been really, really painful to get to where we are now, and I'm sure I got a long way to go, but it's starting to get fun, and I'm starting to see so much bigger of a picture than I ever imagined. A long-winded answer there, but
no, it's cool, man. I'm sure that time in Europe, like I talked about, everything happens for a reason, right? That did prepare you for dealing with different cultures that you don't know about, because you lived in that.
Well, and you appreciate different aspects of life besides just say like, oh, I don't even have the comprehension level to understand how they grew up or what that's like. I'm thankful that I get to see that in a different light.
Fewer surgeries in the business world too.
A lot fewer.
I
don't know.
Definitely thumbs up.
We'll see where the heart operations come here shortly with the stress. But
just don't walk your dog, it sounds like. I want to get your thoughts on the state of the industry at the moment. Obviously, global economy has been some uncertainty with what's going on with tariffs. Mm-hmm. You're solving that problem by making things here in North America, which I think is awesome. But it's even though the stock market's doing better than it ever has, there are some people that are still trying to grapple with what's going to happen with, you know, tariffs and whether it's going to all land. As that relates to our sport, there's a lot of weird things going on. Obviously, the KTM group's in a weird spot. We have all these manufacturers rolling in, which I always just say, hey, the more the merrier. This is great. But you got Beta, you got Triumph, you got Ducati coming in. It's like, how do we sustain all this? Is this too much? Like, I don't know. In a way, I think that those are great signs that they believe there's sales here for them. But then, you know, our sport's it's only going to grow to what it's going to, you know, it fluctuates very little, I think, in terms of participation.
I like seeing what's going on with the SMX League. I think that the way that they brought in the last 3 playoffs, as much as some of the riders want to maybe complain about having 3 more races, there's still $10 million more prize money to go around to the riders, which I think is a big thing that we need to be more appreciative of as a more, you know, racer-based mentality. I think that that's pretty important. Obviously, it's really sad to see what's going on with KTM. All these other brands coming into the industry. I mean, I'm a massive Ducati fan, especially living in Italy for a year and getting to go see, you know, Ferrari and Ducati and just really see how rich that heritage is there and how deep it is. I think it opens the door for more growth into our sport. Meanwhile, we're taking what's very little from all the other brands, but we have a bigger foundation to grow on as we move forward. With the SMX League, I think that they're doing a lot of good things that our sport needs to do. I'll be biased and say that I think that the Replica Jersey project can bring a lot more fan engagement and a lot more notoriety for not only the teams, the brands, and our sport, but also for the riders in general. And hopefully that will attract bigger companies. You know, there's a lot going on. You know, we watched gambling coming into the sport this year, which was a step, right? we've made a lot of little steps this year, but they're steps that should have been done a long time ago, and they've all really been made in a short amount of time. And I do think that growth will happen and click forward. I'll never understand. I don't, until someone really breaks it down and explains it to me how, if you've got a 50-year trajectory of business growth and then you have this spike of COVID, how you think that your trajectory is going to go from this to this overnight. I don't understand that, where, buying turned into 5-6x. We watched $3 billion get injected into the economy. Was it billion or trillion?
It's a lot.
It's a lot, right?
Yeah.
But like in the end, it's not like that happens every year. How many times have you seen that in your lifetime? Never. Like we all look back on the COVID thing, further away that we get from that, we'll all be like, dude, that was an apocalyptic time. Yeah. That was absolutely crazy. And I don't know. I think that we're building a bigger foundation for growth, and I don't think it's going to be in the next, 2-3 years, but in the next 5 to 10, I think we can really see our sport really take form into a bigger organization that I think we've always hoped that it can become.
Have we? Like, do you think it's better? Like, is bigger always better? I have this conversation, and not argument, but like, it's worth arguing about, I think, a little bit, is we always say, man, why? And I agree, our guys need to be paid more. The work that they do, the risk that they take, the talent that you have to do with those guys, it's crazy. They deserve, if everything was equal,
100%.
They deserve so much more than a football guy, baseball guy. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I believe. But at the end of the day, they're only going to get paid what the market will allow.
Right.
We are just a little booger on, the whole big picture. If you look at baseball or what golf does or what football does. So we can't expect them to be paid those numbers. We just can't. So my question is, we always say, I want this thing to grow. I want it to be bigger. But the bigger it gets, you lose like this sort of the core of it. You lose some of the fun of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I
can see what you're saying.
And maybe it's, maybe I'm just an old guy, but like I think back to the 80s and the 90s and early 2000s even, what the sport was like. Mm-hmm. And it was just more fun. Everything is so serious now. The Surfercross just happened. You used to have Fro and Jeremy come out. You used to have all of the top guys who lived out here would show up. Mm-hmm. That would never happen. Now, you'd never get Tomac there. Sexton loves to surf. He could never go do that. Totally frowned upon by the industry. You know what I mean? So as more money comes in, it just gets more serious, less fun. It's just changed that way. And I just sometimes think, careful what you wish for. Because, maybe it will. This TV package is helping a lot, all being accessible on Peacock. And maybe more money does come in and it does grow as a spectator sport. Hopefully it grows all the way around, I guess. You want the industry to be healthy. But I just think, do we continue to lose more of our soul where, I don't know, it becomes even less fun?
I think you're always going to have the side that's too serious and maybe less fun. In the end, I would have loved for the sport to have been bigger and for me to be able to continue racing and not watch these guys continuously risk their lives like we did for peanuts, considering we've done a lot of numbers comparing NFL to Supercross and Motocross and the SMX, I guess. We're about 3% the size of NFL. What happens if we hit 10% the size of NFL? We're, in my opinion, we have the coolest, hardest, gnarliest sport in the world. What we do and what we push our bodies through to do what we do is unlike anything else that we've ever seen. I think that with more people coming in, and if we can grow the sport in the way that I think organically, doing it the correct way, I think that we'll gain a lot of respect from a lot of people. And the sport will be better for all the brands, for people like you doing the media stuff. I mean, all across the board, I think that there's such a big story within this industry to tell to really elevate this industry. And the SMX League, I think, has taken a lot of good big steps into that realm. But man, again, like, we don't have any passive income in this industry as a racer, nothing. And it's terrible to see, I'm not going to name names, but the guys that were at the top and the pinnacle of the sport that are now, virtually on the edge of homelessness. I know. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen in other industries, because it does. But how many people make it financially to where they really don't need to do anything after the sport? Unless you have a really good financial investor advisor, probably nobody.
Yeah.
And that's sad.
It's really sad.
That's the part that I want to see grow. The core and the demographic of knowing the sport for, what you and I know it from, and obviously you've got a generation a little bit before me. I always think that core is going to be there, and it's not going to take a lot to keep that alive. But there's a whole nother world out there that I think can gain a lot of respect for this industry that can help it grow.
Well, I hope you're right, dude. You've got I love that your perspective on the sport, because you've competed as an athlete and now you're running a business inside of the sport, or multiple. What changes would you make if you had the magic wand? You could make the decisions to kind of open it up, make it be more profitable. Like, what are some of the things you think that hold us back? Like, I've always thought sometimes and like I said, I love the SMX program, the playoffs. I think it's great. Certainly good for the riders and teams. But I feel like, man, why don't they let these teams sell some merch at the races? Like, there's some of these things I just wish they do. And the jersey thing's a good start, because at least they're getting a little bit of it. But what else could we do to make it easier for race teams to survive? Because that's a losing proposition. I think you 100%. Saw when you did it your own way. It's like, you cannot make money as a race team. It's just the funnest way to lose money.
Let's look at MotoGP. Let's look at Formula One. How do these teams make what they make? How do they spend what they spend? How do they handle the merchandising? MotoGP and Formula One with Liberty Media and Dorna Motorsports. That whole transaction, that's a super long-winded story. I don't want to screw any of it up, but Liberty comes in and buys MotoGP away from Dorna, but Dorna was so good at licensing and other things that's now what Dorna does within MotoGP and Formula One. It's a cross-platform that gives a revenue share to everybody. NASCAR's got its problems. Michael Jordan and the lawsuit against the owners of NASCAR for the profit sharing not being big enough within NASCAR. Every sport out there has its problems. And I think that the answer is relatively easy for us when we just look at what's working for everyone else, especially when you use something similar like Formula One and MotoGP. You can look at a pretty obtainable, reachable list in the next 3 to 5 years, say, that are pretty obvious are the things that we can do to take a good step in the right direction. I think gambling and betting was one. Gaming has been another one, which has been a pretty big increase in our sport. That the younger generation understands that from afar, we don't see much of that. The merchandise and all that stuff. Trust me, my wheels are forever spinning all day long on where we can take things. And I think that my outlook on the rider perspective and the business perspective, from a fan's view compared to a rider's view, and also from a business transaction, helping and supporting both avenues of that, I think is pretty well-rounded from my very little bit of time in this space. There's not that many hard questions, I think, to answer. It's what is everyone else doing, and how can we do it half as good as them, and what are we not doing at all, and how can we start doing some of those things that's working so well and everything else. Yeah. I'm not reinventing anything.
And you've been working close with the SMX guys. Are they pretty receptive to those ideas? Yeah.
Very. But it's a big wheel. And, on a big ship, it's really hard to make a quick turn. Mm-hmm. I think that the amount of changes that the series has made in the last, 2-3 years, I think is monumental. I think it's monumental. Is it how we would do it? Is it what we all wish that they would do? Is there politics and stuff going on behind the scenes that none of us understand? 100%. Mm-hmm. But I think that they're making big steps. Just like Jorge Prado isn't going to figure out how to find 7 seconds at Washougal next weekend, they're not going to solve all the world's problem in our sport in 2 years. The sport's been around for 50 plus years, right? So anyway, what the right answers are exactly, we can shoot, 10 of them on the wall that are probably pretty needed to be hit. And I think that there's a lot of motion going towards a lot of them. Getting the SMX jersey deal done, I think, was a big step for our industry that we all won't realize besides the people behind the scenes. It could be 3, it could be 5, it could be 10 years before that happens. In NFL, it took 15 years for it to be successful.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. They didn't have, social media. They didn't have a lot of the, quick-to-market stuff that we have now. But it benefits everybody across the board. That's why it worked in NFL. That's why it works in soccer. That's why it works in MotoGP and IndyCar and everything across the board. IndyCar came out with short sleeve jerseys and it did like $2 million in the first weekend in sales. You know, and the riders, the teams, it's a kickback across the board. And the fans get something cool that's fan gear that right now is more popular than ever before.
Yeah.
So,
well, I wish that there was a way. I think that the jerseys are a great step to helping the riders, but if the teams can't afford to keep going racing, they keep folding up because it's like we just can't keep bleeding money. What about selling some race team merch and splitting that with the teams?
So take Star Yamaha, for example, right? And right now you have J. Coop, you have Cooper Webb, you have Eli Tomac, you got a couple other guys in there. If they all go sell, say, 10,000 jerseys, that's decently into the six figures for the team. That's a couple mechanic salary.
So the teams are getting a cut of the jerseys.
The teams are getting a cut, right? So it's a small step.
Yeah.
But it is a step, right? And it's something that every team and every rider can be a part of, you know? And that is a step. And that licensing platform and vehicle and organization that we're trying to build seamlessly goes into apparel and other things that we can create. But we all got to work together as an industry. Being as small as we are, we've all got to understand how much that this is, right? It's not about getting a small piece of, you know, your name or your jersey or your teacher shirt or, you know, whatever. It's about building the brand and building the sport as a whole. And the more people that we bring in, the more there's going to be for everybody across the board. Mm-hmm. But if we all fight over pennies and we all try to close that door off, I think we stunt our own growth for a lot of the things out there that would help our industry.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point, you know, like you need to kind of think bigger than you with this, huh? Like, yeah, you might put a few bucks in your pocket now, but really think what this is going to mean to teams and riders 5, 10, 15 years from now, right?
We've had so many fans buy Plessinger jerseys and Webb jerseys and Bailey jerseys and other jerseys out there. We got tons of stuff online, right? But the messages that we've gotten for people that have stood for years in line to get a Plessinger jersey and get it signed, and we've been able to offer them that online to their door in 4 weeks. Like, we've had people emotionally so thankful for us for doing what we're doing. It's a small step.
Yeah.
It's a very, very small step, but
how is AP signing them all? Does you guys do a big run and then he comes out or what?
No, we make them all and we overnight them to Florida and he signs them all, and sometimes it takes a day, sometimes it takes a week, and then we get them back and then we ship them out.
Okay.
Yeah, they're getting made here, shipped all the way to Florida, signed, shipped all the way back, bagged, folded, tagged, out the door to the customer.
It'd probably be cheaper to just fly him out here.
It's a nightmare. Like I said, maybe I'm the smarter one to do it, maybe I'm the dumber one to do it. And right now, it's 50-50.
Yeah, well, that's all right. You're the one doing it. Long-term plans and goals for you?
I'd like to really reshape the gear industry. And, you know, it's funny because when I started Lucid and we went and knocked on some gear companies' doors, we were like, consider this threat, you know, and, oh, Canvas is another gear company. They're going to steal our technology. And it's like, guys, these are resources that I built for me and what I do that I can plug straight into you that make it cheaper and quicker for you to be able to maneuver here in your backyard by somebody that understands what a rider is actually putting on. Once we broke through that, I started to get into the next step of where I would like to see this happen. And we have some really, really great partners now in the gear industry that they trust us as trying to, you know, pave the path into changing the way that things are happening and the way that they can get around the tariff side with gear made in North America. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to reshape that. I would like for the SMX Jersey project to be something that's accepted by our sport all across the board and something that's a huge revenue driver that will be a monumental pivotal point in our industry that will forever change the shape and the landscape of the growth of our sport. And, you know, Canvas offers custom gear to all kinds of people. Foreign, random, the biggest random companies have reached out to us in some really cool ways. And Canvas is just it's a fun expression piece for me. I'm going to be bringing back another brand that I can't say just yet, but a very, very popular thing from the early 2000s that was very cool time in my period. I think a really cool era in the industry, and just shake it up.
Yeah,
shake it up and leave a stamp. And like I said, my parents have always taught me to leave something better than you found it. And I think with the Jersey project, with the SMX stuff, you know, with Canvas, with the custom stuff, and being able to really supply and jumpstart the production here in North America to be able to produce gear in a different way than what we've done over the last 35, 40 years. I think that could be a cool way for me to leave the sport on a high. So
yeah, I feel like your stamp on the sport is yet to come, or it's in process. You know what I mean?
No, and it was a hard pill to accept, stepping away from moto and stuff. But I'm finding fun right now in my life, and it's been a few years since I have.
And also, for Whiskey Throttle Media fans, we have a set of canvas gear you can buy. Pretty cool stuff. Appreciate you kind of working with me on that. Our test riders needed gear. Was tired of promoting other gear companies who weren't willing to pay any money for that exposure. So I said, hey, let's make our own stuff.
And that's what Canvas is for. You don't have to do anything. If you want to promote your stuff, go promote your stuff. I don't care to be on it unless you want me on it. But no, we'll be adding plenty to that, I'm sure, here shortly.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. So get over to Canvas, look in their collabs section. You'll see it. Talk about family life. I know you went through a divorce recently. You were married to Ryan Villopoto's sister.
Yep.
For those who don't know. And sadly, this is, half of my buddies, seems like it's about the norm. They don't make it. And I've watched it crush some guys. Like, it's tough. I mean, it scares the hell out of me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How's that been? How are you getting through that? How's the personal life? You got
good. You
have one sister?
Yeah, got a sister.
Okay.
She's 3 years older. No, I mean, I quit racing in 2020 and we got married in 2020. We were together for around 11, 12 years, somewhere in there.
Oh, were you really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It was a long engagement. I think we were not engaged, boyfriend, girlfriend. We were only engaged for about a year, but we would have gotten married a couple years before. They lost their father, which respectively just put that on the back burner. And, once things felt right again, we went down that road. And yeah, I mean, my life took a big change after I stopped racing. I taking on these businesses and, not really having a lot of friends that were entrepreneurs and run their own businesses. No one could really relate to what I was going through, and I handled it terribly. Absolutely. I didn't know how to deal with the stress. I didn't know how to deal with the pressure of, 6-figure overhead a month. I mean, I jumped into the deep end and I didn't know what to do and how to handle it, and started finding my way a little. And, in different chapters of different people's life, people grow apart, and love her, nothing negative on any side. It's always going to be a shame that path didn't go the way that it, obviously was intended. No one gets married, plans for divorce. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it seems like you had such a huge change in your life.
Yeah.
You're trying to figure yourself out.
Yeah.
It's a tough time to just get married too,
And I think that's a tough thing that a lot of racers go through, and I'm sure you can attest to it.
I promise you it is.
Yeah, it's like, dude, okay, I stopped racing, and it's like, dude, what's your identity? Who are you? And I really thought that I had myself a little bit more figured out on who I was prior to not knowing that I didn't. But
2 deaths, dude.
Yeah.
Rhino talks about it all the time.
Yeah.
He goes, racers die 2 deaths. The first one is when they say they're done racing, and they're like, who am I?
Yeah.
That's a tough one for a lot of guys. Yeah.
No, but honestly, last 6 months, 7 months have been really, really good. Finding myself, finding a very different spark within, having a lot of fun, reconnecting a lot of old relationships with a lot of old friends, and just having fun again, which is really, really nice. And I'm so excited on what's coming. Like this next year and a half for me is, I got goosebumps. Like there's so many cool things that I'm right on the brink of doing, and putting some of the really heavy stuff off my shoulders over the last 5 years, and taking a breath of fresh air and excited what's to come.
Yeah. That's rad, man. I'm excited for you. And what about your folks? They moved to Florida, right? Where are they?
They left me. They moved to Florida, so they're just south of Daytona. They're on the water. They moved out of here in January 22, and they went through like a 2-year remodel, like most people do. So I don't know how. They're married like 42 years, and they're more in love today than they were when they got married. And trust me, they wanted to kill each other while I was racing. Oh my God. My mom and I fired my dad like every weekend. It was great. But now my dad and I have the best relationship. My mom and I do too. And my parents are like my best friends and my biggest role models. And the only thing that sucks is they live so far away.
Yeah. So how was that, like to have them always right here?
Yeah.
You get a 20-minute drive over to their house to a 4-hour flight and a rental car to see them.
and like I think that's, as I was going through the business side and learning everything, and my marriage was falling apart, and my parents moved out of the state, moved to Florida, across the country, and then, organically throughout separation, you lose a lot of your friend group, and it was just the weirdest thing, a year and a half ago. It's like I look around and, dude, home's not home anymore, and it's like I don't have that friend group or, like I lost everything that was familiar in some ways, but I think it was also pretty necessary for me to really dive into this and figure out where we want to go and how we want to do it, and some great things are falling into place. Everyone's got highs, everyone's got lows, and hopefully the lows are in the past, but I definitely miss them. I don't know when we'll...
Are they happy down there?
They love it.
They're liking the humidity and the bugs?
I mean, the humidity, not so much. The bugs they don't deal with because they're on the water.
Okay.
But
hurricanes, they've been blown out of
oh
their
my
shoes
God.
yet?
So my dad gets a brand new Corvette, right? And this is like in 23 or 24. Must have been 23. I think he had 700 miles on it. And they parked it and they bolted out of town on one of the hurricanes. Freaking thing was, he sent me a photo of it.
Underwater.
I felt so bad. I'd never laughed harder. It was so funny because like it was just
Underwater? What happened?
It was totally underwater.
Oh no.
Totaled it. So then when he got delivery of his next one, I actually went out to Bowling Green with him, and it was cool because like now we make trips together,
Yeah.
So we really enjoy our time together.
Yeah, I don't understand hurricanes, but I visited a buddy in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And just outside of New Orleans, and like to see the houses up on stilts.
It's crazy.
You're kind of like, this is weird. What's this about? And they're like, well, the last hurricane, the water level was here up to the porch, and you're like, oh, okay.
And you don't.
This is a whole other way to live.
You can't compute that.
No.
You can't even compute it. So when he sunk his car, they knew exactly how high to lift the house up because that was like the highest the water had been in 100 years. And they had a hurricane last September or maybe November. They had just finished their new dock 4 weeks before this. Thing wiped it right out. So.
Yeah, I think give me earthquakes any day, huh? Over tornadoes and hurricanes, I just... Yeah. The rumbling.
I was in a Cat 1 down in Cabo one year. It was gnarly.
Yeah.
And it was only a Category 1. It scared the living heck out of me.
Well, send them some bug spray for Christmas. Well, I guess they don't have it bad over there. What do you do for humidity? Some fresh underwear? We'll send them some Ethicas.
Stay inside.
And some Gold Bond.
Yep.
So talk to me a little bit about the dual sporting thing. We touched on it, but this is kind of like, it's kind of my new guilty pleasure, like listening to Justin Bieber, his new album. I don't tell anyone I do that, but I like it.
Okay.
But dual sporting is like kind of becoming my fix. Because I tell people it's like if you go to the track and ride moto, that's like doing a CrossFit workout. Mm-hmm. Where going on a dual sport ride is like doing yoga. Mm-hmm. I get done and I'm just
That's
like,
a good analogy. I like that.
I'm like relaxed. I'm like, that was fun. I don't hurt at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I don't know how much I do.
You're kind of like dual sport plus because I've seen you on your dual sport bike set up like a motocross bike. I've seen you like hucking 80-foot jumps whipped out on this thing. I'm like, yeah, that my bike would break in half, I think.
I don't know. I mean, it's so amazing how many people don't know what's right behind where we live here in Temecula.
I think
people have no idea.
But I think anywhere on a dual sport bike, you can find stuff.
True. Yes.
You got to get creative, go get lost. But that's half the fun, I think, is...
Some of my best memories are getting lost, getting stuck, getting caught in weather, and having to go find a bar for shelter somewhere and just wait it out. Like, we've had so much fun. We've rode in snow. We've rode pouring rain. We've rode middle of the summer when it's 85 degrees out at night and you're waiting 5 minutes because there's so much dust in front of you at night with your headlights. You can't see anything because all you can see is what's in front of you with dust. I mean, we have a ball.
Yeah.
I've got a really small group of people and we have a blast.
There's a group out here called the Flying Monkeys. You heard of them?
No.
It's kind of like Fight Club, right? You don't talk about it. No, you can't bring somebody. Like, you have to know somebody and get an invite. But they meet here in the south end of town every weekend, and they do rides off into the hills, and they finish up at a taco shop. Jamie Ellis knows one of the guys, so he's our in. We got to go.
Let's do it. Let's find it.
Yeah. I got to see what the hell's going on with my knee first, but let's go do that.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
That brings us to our last segment of the day. That is our Ethic of Fit check. We got a hat here. I guess is that Lakers? It's not Lakers colors. What colors is
Dolphins.
that? Dolphins. And well, it needs a
kinda.
little orange.
True.
Some socks. They make the best socks, underwear, gear. Check out Ethica.com. Use the code WISKEY20, 20% off anything over there, guys. And our last question we ask everybody is how you want to be remembered in the sport.
Somebody that left it better than they found it. Somebody that paved a path that maybe not anybody thought could be paved. Just shake it up. Disruption.
Yeah.
Change it. I did things very unconventionally in my career. I think I'm doing things very unconventionally in business. And, I don't know. Got a buddy of mine recently. His name's Albert, Moto Curated.
I know him. Yeah. I know Albert.
So he's come into the business recently, man, and it's been a breath of fresh air and helping me bring a lot of this stuff to life and just trying to find the things that work and build this whole thing up and have fun, man. I'm having fun. I'm having more fun than I've had in a while, and just keep doing that, and hopefully people respect it. That's all. It's not why I'm doing it, but I hope that people can respect for.
Well, you want to do something you're proud of, and I think you're headed the right direction, dude. I kind of see you being like the next Eddie Cole.
He's a absolute amazing human being.
He's great.
Yeah.
I love Eddie Cole. They own Matrix, but he's got his fingers in Seven, in Garnet. Like, he's helping with all of these companies because he's been so successful with business.
Yeah.
So he's being contracted by all these different companies. And Eddie was a really good pro racer back in his day. In fact, I need to get his butt on the show.
He'd be legendary.
He's got great stories.
He'd be legendary. And I don't know how many people like really know him.
They don't. He's one of the guys in our sport that's he's just a gem.
His kids would be funny on here too. You know Chad and Cameron?
I do.
They would be funny.
They helped me get Bob Hanna on the show.
Perfect.
Because Eddie's super tight with Bob Hanna. So it's always through that lens when I've interacted with Cameron, with the kids. But anyway, I picture you kind of following his path. Time will tell, but you've got these really cool business ideas that I think our sport's needed for a long time. You're taking the same drive that you had in racing and just applying it here. And man, I don't see how it's not going to work. You're committed to making it happen, putting in the work.
I'm definitely committed. I mean, for what we had to do on motorcycles, that there's things that no one would ever understand. And, the things that we've had to push each other through or ride with broken this and broken that, live alone in Europe. If you can do those things, this stuff becomes somewhat relatively easy. And there's a lot of people that I don't think will ever correlate the understanding of that or why you do things, and friend groups and all that stuff that didn't really understand throughout this whole process. It's not for everybody. Someone's got to do it, though.
Yeah, it's not for everybody. And that is something about a racer. I just think you have a little bit of will and ability to suffer, because if you're going to make it at a professional level at all, you're going to suffer, right? There's a pretty healthy amount of suffering.
There's a sick
and
satisfaction
physical pain
that comes out of that.
And so if a guy just can refocus that and go, I'm going to grind through this, I'm not stopping. I hit a roadblock, I'm going through it or around it or whatever I got to do.
Yeah.
So you'll get there, man. I'm stoked for you.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on, dude. It was really good hearing your story and filling in a lot of the blanks I had in your career. So
there's random stuff in there. Like you said, my career needed Ritalin for sure. It makes perfect sense.
It was all over the place, but landed in a good spot. Yeah. Well, thank you again. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
We'll be looking forward to what comes out of Canvas and SMX jerseys. Is there a website for that? Where do they go?
SMXjerseys.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Canvas.com for the gear.
Yeah, CanvasMX.com, and then Loose is just the manufacturing entity. But if anyone out there wants to make motocross gear, you know where to find me.
That's right. Thanks for your time, buddy. I appreciate it. Stick around. We'll be back to wrap up the show. Well, big thank you to Michael Leib for coming in and spending the day with us. We sure appreciate him taking the time. It's cool going through his story. Another guy, we have a lot of different racers on here with different levels of success in the sport as it pertains to racing results. But to see what he went through, I mean, not a lot of people can say they had a 27-second lead in a GP and finished second overall. That's pretty awesome. And I think, like I said, what he's doing post-racing is really going to be where he leaves his mark on the sport. Just really applying a business mind to some things and making some changes that are long overdue. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Please support all of our sponsors, everybody that backs this show. We really try to stringently keep weird companies out that are not very core and very supportive of the sport, so that the people we promote, we can stand behind fully and completely. And all of our partners are amazing. So very, very stoked to have them support what we do. Appreciate you guys watching and listening. Thanks so much. We got a lot of great stories coming on the way. So tune back in. Thanks for watching. We'll see you. Yamaha is the industry leader in two-wheeled fun and performance. Celebrating 50 years of YZ in 2024, the Blue Crew is still dominating shootouts and competitions. Yamaha, revs your heart. Troy Lee Designs is the leader in off-road motocross apparel and style. So whether you're looking for a cool new paint job for your helmet, maybe your name and number on your helmet lettered on, you're looking for new gear, you're looking for mountain bike gear, off-road gear. They've got the brand new Scout line and GP and SE models. Troy Lee Designs has it all. They've been leading this industry for decades, and they're going to continue to do it. Check out TroyLeeDesigns.com. Throttle Show, we're all about supporting brands that support our sport. And there's one tire company that has never walked away from the sport of motocross and supercross, and it's Dunlop. When times got tough and the economy took a crash, Dunlop stepped up and stayed with our sport to support it and the athletes and individuals that love it. Their MX-53 line and MX-33 lines absolutely dominate this sport. Every national championship at the pro level has been won in the last decade, and nearly every single amateur national championship at Loretta Lynn's has been won on a Dunlop. So if you're looking for high performance, you're looking for amazing quality, and you're looking to support a brand that never turns its back on our sport, there's only one choice for you, and it's Dunlop. All right, Whiskey Throttle fam, we've got a sponsor here that I want to really encourage you guys to try, Element. If you haven't seen this stuff before, give them a check out on our Instagram bio. You can get in there. We've got a link that will give you free samples. You can go in and try this stuff. And this delivers just the right amount of electrolytes that you need when you're competing at all, especially if it's midsummer, humid. Think Loretta Lynn's, Nationals. You're sweating like crazy. This is the best way to replenish it, okay? Straight water is just going to flush more electrolytes out of your body, cause more cramping. You've got to get the electrolytes back in. This Element provides it in the perfect package with 0 sugar. It is vegan, keto, paleo-friendly, gluten-free. This is the perfect product for athletes or those pretending to be athletes. So it was designed by Rob Wolf. This guy is a crazy smart dude working in the science field. Was developing for his own use in athletics, and he came up with the perfect formula. This stuff's awesome. This right here, the citrus salt, is my favorite. Of course, you can get it in a sample pack like this where you can try some different flavors, watermelon, orange, raspberry. Great stuff. Cannot recommend this enough. If you are racing, even at a local level, and sweating at all, which, come on, we all do on a dirt bike, you've got to have some of this stuff to replenish it right. Give it a try. Like I said, go to our bio on Instagram. You can find a discount code or a link that takes you directly to there, and we'll give you a free sample. Check it out. You're not going to want to miss that. Support these guys. They are fans of the sport, and we are so stoked to be partnered with them. Element is an incredible product that I use exclusively, and I'm so proud to have them part of the Whiskey Throttle Show. Pro Circuit is the leader in aftermarket performance and quality. Whether you're looking for a little more horsepower out of your engine, some quality hard parts to improve the way your bike feels and looks, better handling through suspension or linkage arms, Pro Circuit is where you need to stop. It's your one-stop shop. You can go in there and get everything you need to make your motorcycle go from average to exceptional. Pro Circuit's got enough number 1 plates on their wall to side an entire home, and there's a reason for that. They're very, very good at what they do. The highest quality products with one goal in mind, and that's winning. Check out ProCircuit.com. If you are in the market for a new vehicle, look no further than Toyota of Redlands. You've got to support a brand that is supporting motocross big time. At the amateur level, pro level, they are part owners in the Bar X Yamaha racing team. They support a ton of riders individually, and they support us here at Whiskey Throttle Media. And I'll tell you what, the facility up there in Redlands is absolutely incredible. It's beautiful. The folks are friendly. They're professional. And if you've never owned a Toyota, you got to give it a try. It is the only brand that I'll drive anymore. If you're buying, there's nothing more reliable, nothing that holds its resale value better. And the folks at Toyota of Redlands are just they still remember what customer service is. I guess that's all I really need to say. Incredibly friendly, professional, and just talented staff up there. We're stoked to have them a part of the show. If you see the Whiskey Throttle truck around here, the Toyota of Redlands Tundra, give us a wave and a honk. But man, just so stoked to have these guys on board. Like I said, anybody like that that's getting involved and supporting the sport, we just want to push as many people as we can to them, because those folks are rare, and especially when they have an incredible product and provide an incredible service. So get up to Toyota of Redlands, California. If you're anywhere in southern United States, southwest United States, it's worth the drive. Get over there, check those guys out. Tell them the Whiskey Throttle Crew sent you. On-switch device, something that was much needed in this sport. They've been innovating and bringing new products to market. Their latest is the new Nihilo Run Cool brake pistons. They're designed to be stronger than stock and provide exceptional cooling performance with less brake drag. Most OEM calipers pistons are made from aluminum that just can't hold up to the heat and extreme demands of serious racing. When they get hot, the aluminum will distort, causing loss of hydraulic pressure and brake failure. Nihilo's Run Cool pistons limit the area that boiling hot hydraulic fluid is able to come in contact with the piston, leaving 2/3 of the piston volume in open air with breather holes to enhance the cooling ability. It's made of a proprietary stainless blend, which is better at dissipating heat. You have issues with brake fade or brake failure, check out Nihilo Concepts among their many amazing hard parts and carbon fiber parts and titanium. NihiloConcepts.com. Seat Concepts is the leader in motorcycle saddles. If you're looking for a new cover or a new seat entirely, Seat Concepts is the place to go. They make custom seat foams catered to your height, weight, riding ability, riding type. They also have waterproof covers and foams that will not break down if you ride in a lot of inclement weather. And they pride themselves on being much more comfortable than OEM or any other aftermarket company. If you're looking for a new seat or a new cover, Seat Concepts, there's nothing better. Guys, I want to introduce you to Rockform, and a sponsor of the Whiskey Throttle Show here that has just been blowing my mind with their products. They've got all kinds of, started as phone cases. This is their rugged phone case here that I've got, which is just bulletproof. You could throw this thing out of an airplane, probably pick it up and be just fine. And on the back here, everything is magnetic, so it'll just stick to anything metallic, obviously. But this little locking device you've got in the back, this bolts onto handlebar mounts, car mounts, adhesive mounts, magnetic mounts, and it does not come off. It is locked in. I have no fear that my phone is going to pop off a handlebar on a street bike ride. And then I like the little sport ring they've got. They've got all kinds of devices that pop in here, but this thing acts as a stand. If you want to sit this thing up and watch something on your phone or work on it, just absolutely incredible. And this is magnetic as well. All kinds of amazing products, guys, for your phone. Kind of that's their primary function. They also have the G-Rock speaker. This is basically made for golf, and you just stick it to the frame of your golf cart and get after it. Got great tunes all day long. So a ton of products, but check out our boys at Rockform. These guys are killing it. I'm so stoked to be partnered with this brand. You know, we really pride ourselves on partnering with elite brands, really, really high-level companies, and Rockform is right on cue. Need to replace something on your bike that's worn out? Look no further than Pro-X. These guys aim to make everything OEM quality or better at an affordable price. And they've also got some new products coming. So right now, chains, sprockets, anything inside the engine internally, air filters. If it wears out, Pro-X makes it, and they make it at a quality level that's OEM or better. And they've got some new things coming that are awesome. A complete engine rebuild kits for the Polaris RZR 800s. Need to replace something on your bike that's worn out? Look no further than Pro-X. These guys aim to make everything OEM quality or better at an affordable price. And they've also got some new products coming. So right now, chains, sprockets, anything inside the engine internally, air filters. If it wears out, Pro-X makes it, and they make it at a quality level that's OEM or better. And they've got some new things coming that are awesome. A complete engine rebuild kits for the... All right, so you had a tip over in the garage or at the track and you broke your lever off. What are you going to do? Go to Arc Levers, guys. They're the only people you need to check out in this space. Arc Levers, everything manufactured right here in the United States to craftsman precision. The stuff is awesome. Whether you're looking for an entire clutch perch with maybe a bigger wheel They make the wheels super easy to find and adjust. Or maybe you just want replacement levers. They do that as well. Anything you're after, they can change the throw, the feel, everything you want, custom. They can make them feel different, look different colors. These guys are dialed, man. They've got all kinds of cool products. If you haven't been over to Arc Levers and seen what they've got, check them out. These guys are being run by factory Honda. If they're good enough for Jet Lawrence, I think you and I can probably make them work. The Star Racing Yamaha team, a lot of factory riders running them for good reason. They're the best products in the business. Check out Arc Levers. The Whiskey Throttle Show is presented by motosport.com. It doesn't matter if you like to pull a throttle cable on a dirt bike, street bike, side by side. Motosport.com is putting riders first with parts, gear, and accessories, including some of our partners like Troy Lee Designs, Dunlop, Pro Circuit, and more. They offer first returns free on apparel so you can buy with confidence. And Motosport.com offers fast, free shipping on all orders over $79. Make your next ride your best ride. Visit Motosport.com. If you're considering a facelift for your dirt bike, look no further than TBD MX. TBD MX offers fully customizable graphics. Whatever you want to put on there, it's up to you. You're the boss. You want a military theme? No problem. Give them an idea of what you're after and they'll make it. You want to put unicorns on there? Well, that's super weird, but he'll do it for you anyway. They use the highest quality materials cut to the exact die lines for easy installation, which, if you've ever put graphics on, you know is important. No bubbles, no creases. They fit perfectly. And they offer fast service and shipping, so you're not waiting around forever to get your bike dialed in. So stop looking like a dork at the track. Go to tbdmx.com and get yourself dialed in with a set of graphics that you want, with your sponsors and the things you want to see on it. TBDMX making the best graphics in motocross, and the Whiskey Throttle Media crew and the Whiskey Throttle Show is stoked to be partnered with TBDMX. Follow them on Instagram, give them a follow, and follow along with all of our bike builds as we feature the TBDMX graphics on all our builds. Every good podcast show has got to have an underwear sponsor, right? Well, we went right to the top, Ethica. These guys make the best underwear. If you haven't tried a pair, you don't know what you're missing. Your life hasn't even started yet. So try a pair of Ethicas on. Go to Ethica.com. Use our code WHISKEY20. Get you 20% off. And give all of your nether regions a break, man. It's vacation time for the boys. These things are comfortable. You're riding. Your butt's not going to get all chafed. These things are awesome. And guess what? They don't just make underwear. No. Tees, hats, beanies, sweatshirts, shorts for kids, ladies, toddlers, old people, everybody. You name it. They make them. You know what else they make? Moto gloves. I didn't even know that. I just found it out. So get over to Ethica.com. Check them out. These guys are awesome. Whiskey20. Use our code. Don't cheat me now. Get 20% off and put your buns in the best undies around. Ethica.com. All right, the sun is shining. That means you guys need to find yourself a good pair of sunglasses and look no further than Rockwell. These guys are making some incredible shades right now. They're all designed here in the USA, made in Italy. Very, very high-end craftsmanship on these things. They've got so many different models for men's and women's styles. There's floatable glasses, so if you're out on a lake, on a boat somewhere this summer, go out, find yourself a pair of the floatable ones. They've also got wireframe. They've got wraparound. Anything you're after, any style, Rockwell makes it. We are also working on a motocross goggle that is going to be insane. We are in the development stages of that. I'm helping them with that, as is Justin Hill and a couple other guys. So stay tuned for that. That's coming. They also make all kinds of casual wear. Rockwell is getting it done in all kinds of markets. But the sunglasses, whoo, these things are next level. Check them out, rockwell.com.
The inspiration for Element, interestingly, was from working with my coaches. I sat down with those guys. I'm like, hey, here's what I'm doing. What should I do? And they looked at everything and they were like, you need more electrolytes, specifically sodium. And like most people do when they have a coach, I ignored what their advice was. You're kind of like, well, I salt my food. I'm probably good. And it took me at least a year to finally listen to these guys and do what they asked me to do. And it was just a switch flip. It was just so obvious that this was the critical missing piece to the story. And it's ironic that this salt piece was like the linchpin, the keystone to making all the rest of that work.
Last but not least, Specialized Bicycles. If you are in the market to start pedaling, this is where you want to start. They've got great entry-level bikes all the way up to the Cadillac, the new Levo, e-bike, anything in between, man. It doesn't matter what kind of riding you're doing. Go check out and start with Specialized. Don't waste your time on something that's going to break. The derailleur's not going to shift after a couple months. Get something quality. These guys make it. Specialized leads that industry. Thanks for checking out the Whiskey Throttle Show. If you guys liked it, be sure to like and subscribe so you get notified anytime we have a new show go up. You can also go over to WiskeyThrottleMedia.com and check out all of the content, new bike builds, new bike introductions. We've got all kinds of features in the moto and off-road space, as well as all of the current Whiskey Throttle shows listed there. You can find our YouTube channel to get a complete list by season of all the shows we've done, well over 100 at this point. And also follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok, like, subscribe, comment, all that junk. We'll see you guys.